Hey, everybody, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 312, recorded on April 8th, 2025. And we're going to be talking all about the Nintendo Switch 2, but also the recent Nintendo Direct that happened just before the Switch 2 Direct, along with some Eastasiasoft announcements, Nintendo music, and some brand new information about the Legend of Zelda live action movie. But before we get into all of that, my name is Steve, and of course, I'm joined by Barry and Greg. Barry, how you doing, man? You feeling better finally?
I'll tell you, it has been an interesting 2 weeks. I had the food poisoning before, and then, I was down after that. Apparently, I had got some kind of got the neurovirus, which I wound up giving to my wife, or she got it too, and she was sick on her birthday, and it was just like a mess. And we started feeling better, and then the weather got nice, and then it dropped, and then we both started getting postnasal drip and was constantly coughing, and I was so miserable that I actually went to the doctor yesterday. I'm like, am I dying? And they're like, no, it's allergies, your lungs are fine, your heart is fine, you don't have flu or COVID or anything, you're just dealing with postnasal drip, take some Allegra and Flonase and you'll be okay. And my allergies were never this bad, but I don't know, as you get older, things affect you more. And if this is the
Mm-hmm.
rest of my life every spring, I'm gonna be miserable.
That's too bad. That's too bad. My wife is also experiencing a lot of more allergy stuff at this point as
Yeah,
well.
does she have that post nasal drip where you get that like tick on your throat and just you
It's not
can't
been
cough
that
it up?
bad, but
Oh,
she's also facing some stuff. But
it
Greg,
comes.
Greg, are you dealing with allergies, or are you staying healthy over there?
At least I have been healthy, but it almost sounds like my wife transmitted it all the way out to Barry and Co out there because she had it back for her birthday earlier in February. So like she had like a neurovirus strand, and we've been hearing like how the basically how it's been really awful. Like the flu this time around this year, like has been causing all sorts of issues for everybody. So I guess the
Well,
flu shot wasn't super effective this time around.
the biggest thing for me was the flu shot worked for me because I don't have it. But now that my son is in daycare, for the longest time, been just my wife and myself, and we don't go out a lot. So we really don't have to deal with a lot of germs. But now he's surrounded by all this, and he's constantly bringing back all these new germs. So the doctor was pretty much like, "Have fun. You're going to be dealing with this stuff for years." And I'm like, "Oh boy,
Yay!
But just what you signed up for.
that's exactly what I signed up for."
That's
It
right.
though. It's worth it.
That's right. Well, hey, if you are new to joining us for the Nintendo Fuse podcast, thank you guys so much for being here. Be sure to hit that like button on YouTube as we stream here on YouTube and also on Twitch. And if you are joining us live, be sure to join in the live chat as well. We love interacting with you guys throughout the entire live recording of the podcast. And if you watch us after the fact or listen to us after the fact, be sure to leave comments. Let us know what you're thinking about the news stories that we talk about, all the games that we're playing, and everything else. We love interacting with you guys, whether it be live or after the fact. And if you haven't yet subscribed on YouTube, but also on your favorite podcast app, please do that and share it with your other Nintendo friends, Nintendo fans that are out there. And we'd love for you to help us just continue to increase this community. Speaking of which, if you have not followed us on social media, we are on most social medias, much of the popular ones out there at Nintendo Fuse. But also, we encourage you to join our community over on Discord. The link is on the screen, but also in the YouTube description and the show notes for the podcast. And we'd love to have you over there. So let's jump in, as always, to what we have been playing first. And we'll go to you first, Greg.
Somewhat later this time around, as per usual. It seems like this for this year, but I at least was powered on the Switch, so there's a good step in the right direction from the last few episodes where I had not. So I finally got some time into both Stunt Flyer and Guns of Fury, both games that will be doing featured game chats for So you'll have to look forward to that on our social channels once we get those up and posted. Other than those, I was still knee deep into the Roblox game Adopt Me with my daughter, and then she's also kind of been branching out into some other games these days. But I didn't really quite want to dive into any extra games to add to the list of things to play here. So that's pretty much it for there. And then Pixel RPG is still going through the things. They're doing like a half year celebration right now, so they're allowing you to summon for some of the previous characters that have appeared all the way through like up the first 5-6 months of the game's release. So I haven't been lucky to get any of the ones that I've missed out yet, but hoping that I can hopefully get a few more added to the roster there. And then I think maybe like once or twice I logged into the Pokemon trading card game, and it's just been a really slow effort to try to remember to go into there a little bit more frequently to open up a lot more packs. But that's pretty much it for me.
Nice. Greg, what level are you up to on Pokemon?
I think 2 or 3 or something. I think.
Okay. I kept checking and you were level 2 for a while, and I was like, my thing, I was like, oh, I guess he's not playing it at all. So,
Yeah, I think I've only did it like maybe once in the last 2 weeks. I had thought about it, but then it said like, "Oh, please download an update," and I was like, "Well, I'm on mobile. I don't know if I want to spend extra data to download updates, and don't know how big the update is, and all that kind of fun stuff that goes with that when you're on the go."
got it. Got it. Zev Zero's joining us in the chat, said hey, and hey back. And also, yeah, let us know what you've been playing. Barry, how about you?
Yeah, my list isn't 300 games long.
No.
And that's shocking. That's mainly because of one game. On the Switch, still doing my daily Pokemon Unite. Did play some more Guns of Fury, which we'll be talking about. But the main game I've been playing was Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, which I really wanted to beat before this podcast, and I'm on the final mission, but I did not get to beat it yet. Um, that game is amazing. It still gets me. Like, it's so much better than the Wii U version. It's not even funny. All the quality of life things are incredible. And they did exactly what I wanted them to do with the post story, because the post story is like they left it in a cliffhanger the first time, but they pretty much said, "Okay, we understand that X is the black sheep and it's not part of the trilogy, but we kind of want to bring everyone together." And there's just some throwbacks, some new lines, and definitely some really cool imagery. And I'm sure there's more as I go through the final mission. But it's been a blast. It really has been great. Absolutely well worth it. And then little fun things where they did this in Xeno 1 Definitive Edition too, where they took Alvis's necklace and made it into like a processor symbol, and then Lily has a little Monado pin and stuff like that. It's like little fun things. Of course, as if you played even the Wii U version, there's like the legendary sword from the Nopons, and it's a little Monado and stuff like that. Like, I love that the fact that this is a Nintendo game too. I forgot how many races are in this, like how many different alien races that are not part of the other Xeno series. Like, it's like Mass Effect, and it's like these are Nintendo characters. Are we ever gonna see them again? Like, is Nintendo do anything? You've got all these created races and you do nothing with it. So hopefully Xeno 4 will answer the question, but I'll see as I finish the game. PC still playing some Final Fantasy 14. And mobile, Mario Kart Tour, New York Times, and unlike Greg, I'm still playing Pokemon Pocket every single day. New event just started yesterday that I've been doing, and still opening up my packs. I have fun. My wife has way better luck than I do, though. I'll say that.
Nice. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Pokemon TCG mobile as well. I think I'm pretty much, yeah, it's like 2 or 3 times a day that I'll log in and kind of get the packs I need to and check everything and stuff. I haven't been playing too many battles lately, so I've slowed my leveling up recently, and so I haven't been playing as much in the events and things just
You
because
gotta
of
do the
lack of
solo
time.
event though for the free cards.
You
Just auto
do,
battle
but those take a
those.
little more time than just tapping around to open packs. So,
Auto battle.
yeah.
Usually the CPU is good enough to at least beat itself.
The last time I auto battled, they sucked, and that's why I stopped auto battling.
This one was pretty good actually. Like
Okay,
I used auto battle and it easy.
okay, that's good. I'll have to try it again.
Need a good fighting
Um,
deck. That's what you need.
oh, I've been using a lightning deck for most of what I do anymore.
It's a lightning event, so you use
Oh,
fighting against it.
good, good point. I didn't even look when I did what it was. Um, I'll go in even with the lightning and beat it. I don't know. And then yeah, I played a little more of Guns of Fury. And then played, of course, a little bit of Rocket League, not a ton, and some Clash Royale. And also, as I was traveling, played some more Suika game, which has kind of been my default on my phone recently. Just if I need something to play that doesn't require internet, and Suika Game has been one of those. So I'm just matching a bunch of fruit, and then wanting to throw my phone when the fruit doesn't do what I want it to. Uh, but I'm on a plane, so I can't really do that. So hello to Brett, who's joining us in the chat as well. Just another reminder, let us know what you've been playing and all your thoughts on the Nintendo news that we're going to be talking about in this episode. So yeah, that was it. It wasn't a whole lot for this last couple of weeks. I've been like swamped with a lot of other things. Um, but yeah, in just a bit, we're going to be talking about a lot about Nintendo Switch 2, which seems to be focusing a lot on multiplayer, whether in the same room or online. And that got me thinking. I don't know if you guys have thought back to times like when you've had the best teammates in video games. And Barry, I know you play a lot of Final Fantasy 14. You've probably had some really good teammates and some horrible teammates. Same with Pokemon Unite. Bunch of games out there. One of my favorite times playing with a good teammate was when I was playing Mario Strikers on Wii, and I had an amazing teammate, and we would play for hours where we could just like easily predict each other's movements. I'm like I said, I'm sure you guys have probably had some of those times too. And a recent teammate of mine has been actually Magic Mind. So whether I'm playing video games or whether I'm watching a Nintendo Direct or multiple Nintendo Directs in a couple weeks, or combing through hours of content from a Nintendo Treehouse live event to see all this different gameplay, this little bottle has been a great teammate of mine, helping me to stay alert and productive. Greg and Barry, I know you guys have had some experience with Magic Mind as well. What's your experience has been like, Greg?
Yeah, like you were saying, like I've had really good teammates in the past, but like even though I'm doing I've really connected with somebody in one of the that Roblox game I mentioned earlier. So he's been basically on my team because he's been helping me try to complete my journal entry and collect every single pet item in the game. And so I was very thankful to have like the Magic Mind to help me out and further like make sure we were able to navigate and chase down different servers and locate different people, trying to find all these different items that I'm trying to collect, at least just have a single copy of. So it was really great to have that also on my side at that point as well too. And then in addition, I'm still like wrapping up like the sleep ones, and those are really beneficial as they help you like go to sleep at night as well, as I've talked about previously. So it's fantastic to have a little thing to help turn off the brain in the evening time in addition to that.
That's cool. How about you, Barry?
Yeah, where I've just been so down with illnesses and allergies, it's been hard to stay focused. And especially, in Final Fantasy 14, they just had the new patch with new story content and new raids, and it's a new tier, so everyone's going after it. And I'm part of a team, and I did not want to let my team down. So Magic Mind was able to keep me focused. And you absolutely have to stay focused. And when you're running off little sleep because you're just constantly coughing and you just feel miserable. Yeah, we would have lost and not cleared in time for the weekly reset if I didn't have Magic Mind. So thankfully, it helped me and it helped out my 7 other teammates. So it has really been clutch, especially for those raid sessions.
Nice, nice. Well, if you're looking for a great teammate, Magic Mind and Nintendo Fuse are issuing a 7-day challenge. So try out Magic Mind for 7 days in a row and see how it impacts your mind, your focus, your efficiency. And just so you know, it's 100% safe. So this is made from third-party tested ingredients created by a scientific advisory board of directors and medical researchers. It contains all of your daily vitamin C and D. It's sourced from the best suppliers. They spent over 10 years and made 100 different formulas to perfect this thing. And all three of us, like we said, have been drinking it for a while and have experienced more focus, calmness, less stress. And so if you want to take the challenge, we'd encourage you to do that. You can buy it at your local Sprouts, Central Market, Air One, grocery stores, or you can head over to magicmind.com/NF20. That's for Nintendo Fuse NF20, where you can save up to 48% on your first subscription, or you can also save 20% off a one-time purchase with the code NF20 at checkout. Magic Mind is also so confident in the product that they will offer a 100% refund with no questions asked for up to 100 days after your purchase. So head over to magicmind.com/NF20 to learn more and take the 7-day challenge with us. And we're so grateful to Magic Mind for sponsoring this episode and supplying us with some shots to check this out. Let's step into our headlines before we get to the main topics today. And we've got kind of a reverse of what the last few shows have been. We've got very few headlines and a lot of more main discussion because, Nintendo decided to drop just a ton of stuff. And then Eastasiasoft jumped in there as well and said, hey, how about some more of this? So we're going to jump into our headlines in just a second. And I just noticed we've got several people that have joined us in the chat and been telling us about what they've been playing. So let's head over there before we head into our headlines. Looks like Brent's been playing a lot more game, or not playing. He's been doing more game development. And then so he's so close to the finish line. The Switch 2 reveal has been interesting, he says. And then looks like OKEE Reps has been playing through Elderland, but can't quite get the hang of the inventory weapon equip system. And also Prison City is beating me up. So I have not played either of those games. Have you guys?
I have.
Yeah, I've not played either of them.
I didn't play Elderland, but I played Prison City. It's like a NES style action game from Retroware, but it's almost like Mega Man, where you could pick what level you want to go to first. It's fun, but it is tough. It's NES style tough, but It's on the Switch.
That's cool. To check those out. All right, well let's jump into our headlines, and Greg's going to kick us off first with the first one.
All right, so the Nintendo Music app, as usual, gets some more updates, and this time on March 31st, we got more music for F-Zero and F-Zero X. So, like, there's an expansion kit or whatever, I guess, was for F-Zero X that was more recently expanded upon. And then as of April 7th, we got some wonderful music from Luigi's Mansion from the classic GameCube games. So that's really great to see that they're still continuing to add more music and soundtracks to our Nintendo Music app.
And speaking of apps, one of the things they showcased at the not latest Nintendo Direct, but the last Switch 1 Direct, was a brand new app for your phone. And the very first thing that they decided to use that app for was to announce that the Legend of Zelda live action movie will release worldwide on March 26th, 2027.
Nice. Well, that's it for today's headlines. That's it. So just the two. Greg, any thoughts on either of these?
Yeah, I did actually get a chance to listen to some of the F-Zero stuff in the car the other day, so it was really great to see that that has a wonderful soundtrack. I absolutely love the F-Zero soundtrack. It was almost made it seem like it was from like the Mario Kart race, but it was actually the original SNES version. So that was really great to listen to that. Haven't heard the Luigi's Mansion one yet. I think that was just added whatever like yesterday or the day before. So hoping to look forward to having that come through. And then, yeah, I actually more discovered the announcement of the Nintendo Today thing actually today, because I didn't realize that they had um, posted any news. Like when I opened it up the first day, it seemed like everything was very empty. So like I didn't even show anything. It was just like, oh, here's like the Nintendo Direct. I'm like, okay, well, I already know about that. So, and then I didn't open it up for like a week or so, and then like today when I was scrolling through the news, I saw like a Legend of Zelda thing, and I was like, wow, that's really cool that they're actually announcing a live movie. So, yeah, really don't know if it's gonna be to theaters or direct to streaming, but either way, I'll probably likely be there to watch it because big Legend of Zelda fan.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I'm same with you. I'll definitely be there on launch or release day for sure. And I haven't listened to this Nintendo music yet, but I totally agree with you. The F Zero music is top notch for sure. Barry, how about you?
Zelda movie, so day one for sure, released opening weekend. And I still really don't use the Nintendo Music app, but it's good to see it constantly getting updated. And Greg, the F-Zero X expansion pack was for the 64DD, so it's nothing new. It was older. We just never got it here in America. So it's great that they actually took the music from there, and it even gave us that music instead of it just being like lost.
Nice.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
I didn't even quite realize. I was wondering what the heck expansion kit means. Like I didn't know if like they expanded upon it, but
Well, they
yeah,
did.
I
That's
did see
what
like a yeah.
they used the DD to do it. You had like a level editor. There was new courses. They did a lot to it, but you need the Japanese version of F-Zero X to
Oh.
play it.
Oh, I understand the DD version. I just know that, like I was about to say, like there was another soundtrack, I guess, that they showed like on that one website that we use, is that they added extra songs, and it even said that there's gonna be more, like the remaining parts of the from that game were gonna be added later. So the term expansion just means like it can be expanded upon. So I wasn't sure if it
Mm.
was like additional
Uh,
F-Zero music in terms of the sense like they included more songs that weren't originally there in terms of actually being a whole separate game that was very exclusive to the DD that like whatever like 20 like 10,000 people bought it or whatever. But that's great that they
very
still
little.
have that music for people to enjoy because they obviously don't have the game as playable anywhere else.
Hmm. Well, let's jump into our main discussion now. So it feels weird to only be flying through our headlines, but we've got a lot of main discussion for this episode. Three big showcases slash directs to talk about, and we're going to tackle the Eastasiasoft one first. And this was yesterday. Is that right? Am I getting that
No,
correct?
yeah, it was yesterday.
Dropped on April 7th. So on April 7th, we got the Eastasiasoft Spring 2025 Showcase. And I believe there are 22 titles that they covered that would be releasing over the next couple months to indefinite time. So there's one that was coming soon, a lot of them that were called just 2025, but then also some that are out today that day, and then some of them are just a few days away as well. So on the video version, we're gonna have it just playing. So maybe if you caught any of it or missed any of it, you can kind of watch along as we kind of go through the highlights of the game titles and when they're going to be released and all that. So let's see. First set we got a and I'm just going to apologize ahead of time because I'm going to butcher some of these names. It's going to happen. Like this first one, Hakoiki, I think, SSL Sweet School Life is going to be coming out for the Nintendo Switch in late 2025. We also got Dagger Froggy that came out that day for a lot of different systems, but including Nintendo Switch for only $4.99. And then Secrets in Green is going to be launching on April 9th for a lot
Those
of different
difficult words.
systems.
Green.
That's a difficult one. I for whatever reason I wanted to say Secrets in Garden. because I was thinking Secret Garden. But anyway, that's coming out on April 9th. So just tomorrow, as we're recording this, that's going to be only $4.99. And then Moving Houses is on April 16th for $12.99. And a game called Hexis or Hexes. I'm not sure which one it is. I forgot to write that down as they were announcing it. Coming out on April 23rd for, again, only $4.99 on Switch and pretty much everything else as well. So of those first, what did I do? 5 games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think I did 5 of them. What stands out to you, Greg? Any of those stand out from those first 5?
Most of them didn't really look like my style game. Like I'm not a big fan of like the almost like the Tap Wizard 2 style where you're just kind of like getting swarmed with enemies just chasing you down and around the map kind of stuff. So I wasn't really the it's not really the game for me there. The one I guess one that did somewhat catch was that Moving Houses one. It almost looks like an interesting type game because you can just kind of like throw the chairs and everything else. So I don't know if that might be more of a silly game or unless it's just going to be looking to be more silly and just actually be straight up hot trash like some of the other games we've reviewed. But that was like the at least the main one that could be something, but I don't really know for sure if it actually will be. But yeah, the other ones didn't really catch my eye or anything that I was looking for. I don't know what you thought, Barry.
For me, Hexis was a big one. I love puzzle games, and I think that looks really interesting. And Dagger Frogger also looks interesting to me. Just I've grown accustomed to these Vampire Survivor style games and having some fun with it, and I think there could be a lot of fun with that, just depending on how well it goes.
Got it. Yeah, none of these really stood out to me. I think there's some promise. Like I think some of them look great, but none of them were like, oh, I have to have that game, for sure. Moving into the next section, we got Blazing Trail that drops on April 30th for $12.99 on Switch and other consoles. Submarine Survivor, sometime in May 2025. It's going to be only $4.99 on Switch and other consoles. Mo Waifu H Pushbox on sometime in May as well, only $4.99 on Switch and other consoles. Super Engine GT Turbo Spec sometime in May of 2025, also $4.99 on Switch and other consoles. And then Starlight Legacy, again, sometime in May. And this one's going to be only $12.99 on Switch and other consoles, but also PC as well. Sorry, and I forgot to mention, just in case you want to know, the Mo Waifu H push box is also on PC. So, Greg, anything stand out to you from those?
Yeah, the Pushbox one looks similar to that one game Soko Penguin that we had played, so I don't know if I'll be super interested in that one, but because it seems like it's a very similar concept. But at least the main one that's stood out to me was that let's see, the last one, and that was like the with the Starlight Legacy one. So like
Mm-hmm.
that was like a little RPG type game. So I think that one might be something I'll be probably the one at least the one so far that I'll be taking a closer look at closer to its release.
Nice. Barry?
Yeah, Starlight Legacy is definitely the biggest one here. So hopefully I get a review code, because it looks like a lot of fun, and I love old school RPGs. Super Engine GT also looks like a lot of fun. It reminds me of Off Road
Mm-hmm.
on the NES, and Trail looks like a lot of fun too. That kind of reminds me of an older style like NES action, like Contra in a sense, or at least like a more of a top down little Metal Gear. So I have those ones really pulled for me.
Nice. Yeah, I think of those, Starlight Legacy was definitely the one that stood out to me. It looks like like old school RPG, Pokemon or original Zelda or any of those like mana games. All those it just seems like so much fun. And that's about it. I mean, the Super Engine GT looks fun, but it's just not my thing. I'm not gonna be into those anymore. Like I once was. It kind of, you know, Super Off Road was fantastic in at its time, but it doesn't get me anymore. But it's a cool design. But Starlight Legacy is probably the only one that really grabbed my attention. Next set of 5 were Akko the Exiled. Just this one's the one coming soon to consoles and PC. And then we got Notice Me Lena Senpai that's coming sometime in 2025 to consoles. And then Starlight Riders Hyper Jump that's coming sometime in 2025 to consoles. Knights Night. So that's KNIGHT apostrophe S NIGHT. And that is coming sometime in 2025 for $4.99, and that's going to be just listed on consoles. And then Keeper's Toll was another one that's going to be dropping sometime in 2025 for a lot of different consoles, including Switch. So of those 5, what stands out, Greg?
The first one, Octo Express, the Exiled, that one looks like a little fun, like a little platformer, or either that or a Metroidvania type game. It's kind of hard to tell like which one exactly was, but either way, I like that style game. And then also the other one that kind of stood out to me was, let's see, that was the Night's Night, because it almost kind of gave me like a vibe of like that thousand and one spikes or whatever that released on Wii U way back when, just with like how it's kind of super zoomed out and you can see the full level and it's very black and white. But then that definitely looked like a more of a platformer style game, and that sounds really interesting and stuff too. So I might be checking that one out as well.
Yeah, it's a precision platformer, so that's what they kind of lost me. I'm like, oh, if I don't know if I have what it takes to really be getting good at precision platformers anymore. Gotta take care of my time that I have little for gaming anymore. Barry, what
Yeah,
stands
I
out to
guess it
you?
depends. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
go
I
ahead,
guess it
Greg.
just ultimately depend on, yeah, it's probably depend on how precise you have to be, but I'm not usually super deep into that either, but it looks like it was could be kind of interesting depending on how rough it will get.
Hmm. How about you, Barry?
For me, Akko the Exile definitely looks amazing. Like it looks like a lot of fun. Notice Me, Lena Senpai reminds me of Plants vs Zombies in the tower defense kind of style. So that could be fun because there was definitely a charm to Plants vs Zombies. The Starlight Riders has a chance to be good, and I say chance because I feel like Eastasiasoft shmups are very hit or miss, and more often than not, I found them to be misses. So, uh, I'm keeping my expectations.
Yeah, yeah. Very, very much agree with you on that because we've got to play a lot of those shmups from East Asia
Yep.
Soft. Yeah, I'm with you guys. Akko is definitely the one that stood out to me as well. It looks like I don't know if it's going to have any Metroidvania in it, but it looks like a great platformer adventure kind of game. And so, yeah, of the two, honestly, the Starlight Legacy and then also Akko were the two standouts for me in this entire show. Um, let's move, and then it looks like other people are saying the same thing. Akko in the chat, okay reps, and then Brent. No, okay. Reps also talked about Starlight Survivors as well. So far we are all on the same page with the chat as well. Moving on, we get a last set of 8 games. I'm just going to fly through those all together before we kind of review and talk about the ones that stood out. We got Maki's Adventure that's coming out sometime in 2025. In fact, all of these just have a 2025 generic date, no specific window beyond this year. So just say that up front, and then that will go for all 8 of these games I'm going to talk about. So Maki's Adventure, and then End Light. King of Ping Pong Megamix, Exo Calibra, Without a Voice, Super Mining Mechs, and then Tiny Pixels Volume 2 Stormy Nights. So all those games, again, coming out sometime this year in 2025. No prices given, but all listed for consoles. Exo Calibra and Tiny Pixels Volume 2 are also listed for PC. So, Greg, any of those stand out to you?
Let's see, the super mining mechs kind of gave me like a little brief reminder of the SteamWorld Dig type game, so I don't know if that might be something I might check out. But that was pretty much one of the main ones that had stood out. Like the last one, the Tiny Pixel Stormy Nights, like that also seems somewhat interesting, but I don't know, like it probably has a lot of other games to be checking out too over the course of this year, I'm sure. But I don't know, might be something I still look into though.
Yeah. Barry, anything stand out to you?
End Light looks like it could be a lot of fun, like a cathartic fun, like not anything amazingly challenging, but just something to come back to and play in bits and pieces. So that one has a chance. Excalibur, again, the same thing. Shmup, it could go either way. Hopefully it goes positive, but wait and see. King of Ping Pong reminds me of Punch Out. It's like
Yeah.
Punch Out, but with ping pong,
Yeah.
and that intrigues me because normally I don't like first person, but this is obviously different. This is not like really moving around. And I think that could be a lot of fun with it. It's definitely different. So I'm curious to see how it plays because I love Punch Out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Of any of these, King of Ping Pong kind of did too. And when I first saw it, I was like, I don't know, this is kind of rudimentary ping pong. And then I was like, oh, that's interesting. You kind of wear them down and look for an opening and stuff like that. Kind of sounds cool. But at the same time, I think you're only able to just move side to side, and you have 3 different shots that you can use. So I don't know if I might get too frustrated that it's too simplistic. So I'm kind of in between there. I kind of like what they're going for, but I might find myself wanting more from it, and that's just not what it is. So I don't know. I'm kind of going back and forth, but I'm with you. When I saw that, it was like, oh, this is definitely Punch Out and ping pong form for sure. Looks like Brent said he's bought like 30 of these Survivor games from a lot from Eastasiasoft, I'm guessing, and others as well, because a lot of them are only $5. So might as well just keep loading on the Survivor games, I guess. Well, keep letting us know what you guys think about all these different news stories and everything else. And again, if you're listening after the fact or watching after the fact, let us know that's what you think down in the comments on YouTube. But yeah, just overall thoughts about the Eastasiasoft Direct. Anything else you want to say before we move on, Greg?
Not particularly, because unfortunately I didn't really watch it until like along with the podcast here, so it's kind of scrambling to watch ahead on my own browser to kind of get ahead to be able to talk about some of the games that looked remotely interesting. So unfortunately, I missed like the initial release of it, but I'm sure I'll be diving more back into it as I get some more time coming up in the next few weeks, though.
Okay. Barry, any final thoughts about Eastasiasoft?
Yeah, I thought they had a good showing overall. Good variety of games. Not a lot of Steve games because I always watch these and go, Steve gonna
And by
like this one
Steve
or not?
Games, you mean Steve won't like this, but
Like exactly. And I was like, I was kind of happy to see like not as many
yeah.
this time, and I was like, oh, the fact that really wasn't the closest one was the Sokoban one. But yeah, there's a good variety of games. It was interesting how they showed so many that are coming later this year, because usually they focus on these are the games only in the spring, these are the games only in the summer. So it's kind of interesting to see them lay out pretty much their whole year, or at least a good chunk of their year in once. But I'm excited. I've been waiting for Starlight Legacy for a while, and to see some of these other new games, like even to see like Hakuoki, isn't a game for me, but my wife loves the first one. So this one never came to English. This is the first time it's coming in English.
Mhm.
So it'd be like, oh, cool, like she'll get to enjoy that. So I think there's at least one game for everyone in this, and that's a good variety.
Yeah.
At least there's one.
Yeah, I was glad to see a lot of variety as well. Because sometimes if you've been with us for a while and you've heard us talk about these shows, sometimes there's not a lot of variety. But it was cool to see that, and And interesting, like none of these are for Nintendo Switch 2. They're all Switch 1, so they're going to be playable on Switch 2. But it also, as I was watching it, I didn't see anything that was going to be really, really pushing the hardware either, which is
Yeah.
not typical for Eastasiasoft games anyway. They're rarely really, really pushing hardware. They're usually a lot of mobile games that they're porting over, or something that's a little easier on the system itself. Cool. Well, that brings us to the end of that section, but we are far from done because we got two, count them, two Nintendo Directs this time, and so the first one came on March 27th. Nintendo kind of just came out of seemingly nowhere and dropped a Nintendo Direct on us that focused solely on the Nintendo Switch, except for one little thing at the end that we've already alluded to, the Nintendo Today app. But yeah, before we jump into this one, we're going to run through all the different uh, announcements that were made and things that were shown off in this one. But let's go to you first, Barry. What were your overall thoughts from this Nintendo Direct ahead of the Switch 2 one?
I feel a lot of people were kind of unfairly judging this direct. Like they expected. I feel like anytime there's a Nintendo Direct, people expect earth-shattering announcement after earth-shattering announcement. Like Nintendo's just making 500 different games, all based like of the caliber of like Breath of the Wild, and they're gonna show off all of them. That's never happening, ever, 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 ever. And I feel like a lot of people's expectations were insanely high in anticipation for the Switch 2, and that was unfair to this direct. I don't see a lot of people like, oh, I was a 4 at a direct. I was 10. That was terrible. For me, I honestly loved it. I loved it because they showcased games and they announced games I didn't know about, like that weren't leaked. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 we were excited about, but we knew. But when it started, and it started with the first game they showed off was No Sleep for Konami Dante. Like, wait a second, we're getting AI 3? Like, I love the AI series. If you haven't played it, you're missing out. It's such a good series. And I had no idea there was a third game coming. So that right there, the direct could have ended at that, and I would have been be over the moon. Over the moon. Like, super excited. And for people who haven't played the series, of course, they don't care. And that's fine. But for me, done. But it didn't end there yet. Radio Remastered came out. Other games like Shadow Labyrinth. What really interesting to me is to see Sony games
Mm,
coming over from third party makers. They're going the route that like Sega, um, House of the Dead remake and Panzer Dragoon, where another company is making it for their property. And we just saw Freedom Wars Remastered come to the Switch. That's a Sony property. And then you got Patapon 1 and 2 Replay, which was a Sony. And Everybody's Golf Hot Shots, which is, and it's like, wait a minute, this is coming to the Switch? This, like, what? This is great to see. And then Nintendo. Nintendo made some of my predictions come true by dropping not one, but two forgotten about dormant franchises with Rhythm Heaven and Tamagotchi Life in the same direct. And I know some people went crazy about that. I thought that was fantastic because we're seeing Nintendo lean away from so many people. Like, Nintendo just keeps using Mario Zelda, Mario Zelda, that's it. And then we finally see them embrace. Last year we had Another Code, we had Endless Ocean, we had Famicom Detective Club. Now we're getting Rhythm Heaven and Tamagotchi Life. This is great. This is Nintendo embracing their other side. So I'm really excited about that. And of course, we saw Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, which we'll talk about more in a bit as well. And yeah, I think overall, in Marvel's Cosmic Invasion, like, how are people not talking about that more? That reminds me of like the old X-Men arcade game. That looks
mm-hmm.
great. So I think overall, this direct had a lot of games for me, but if you were expecting a week before the Nintendo Switch 2 for them to just magically drop a bunch of Breath of the Wild style games or style announcements, you're going to be disappointed. And if you only play Mario, Zelda, and maybe that's it, or maybe like one or two other random series or first person shooters, or like if your gaming range is very limited, you're probably going to be disappointed because there's a lot of genres here that aren't as popular or aren't as talked about. And I think if you're in that boat, try something, expand your horizon, try something out of your comfort zone because you might find your next favorite game.
Yeah,
And that's how it worked for me.
for sure. How about you, Greg? Overall thoughts?
I mean, overall, I felt like it basically met my expectations. Wasn't one of the people that Barry was describing and set the bar like insanely high and was like, we got to have Twilight Princess, we got to have Wind Waker, like let's port those over, let's get everything else, all these, let's make Breath of the Wild 3. And I didn't have any type of those expectations at all, and that's where I feel like it's pretty much solely met it. I understand that, for at least from the Nintendo's perspective, it's kind of already on like the swan song type games, and that's basically just gonna be Metroid Prime 4 by the looks of things. And I kind of figured it would be shown, and it was, and that was kind of like the bare bones item that I was basically expecting to be seen. And then it pretty much didn't go anything past that. They didn't say like, "Oh, here's a new Mario and Luigi game," even though we just got one, or something like that, or "Here's new Paper Mario game," or anything like that. Like, that really exceeded in that way, but it still met that, like, hey, it's just basically Prime 4, and then let's revive a few series and other things like that, and much smaller projects, and that's basically what I was expecting. Is just ahead of week the Switch 2. So I already was sold on Dragon Quest 1 and 2. Like, I had said that when they announced it back in whatever September or October, whenever that direct was, where they dove into 3. But yeah, were the biggest 2 games in my eyes, and I was basically already sold on both of them, and so that was basically about for overall thoughts.
Cool. Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I didn't have super high expectations for this one because I knew this is kind of like I mean, not their official swan song, but it's getting pretty close to the swan song for the Switch one. And so, yeah, I didn't really have incredibly high expectations, and so I was just there for the ride. And I think it's a good approach to going into almost any Nintendo Direct, is just go in for the ride. Don't have incredibly high expectations, and think typically you're going to be pretty okay. So for this one, there's a lot that they announced, and I thought we can just hit these quick, and then spend more time as you guys want to. So I'm gonna hit. Here we go. I'm gonna hit 10 games at a time, and then we'll discuss those. So 10 games at a time. So the first, and then this is in the order they announced them in the Nintendo Direct as well. So if you haven't seen it, we are again playing the Nintendo Direct on the screen right now in the video version. But be sure to check it out and let us know what stood out to you guys as well. So we got Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake that's going to be dropping sometime in 2025. We got No Sleep for Kaname Date from the Somnium Files. Man, that was not even a difficult one. But anyhow, that's going to be dropping on July 25th of this year. And we got Raidou Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army on June 19th of this year. Shadow Labyrinth on July 18th. And this is kind of a Pac-Man game, which totally caught, I think, most of us off guard. Patapon 1+2 Replay is dropping on July 11th of this year. Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar on August 27th of this year. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond sometime in 2025. And then Disney Villains Cursed Cafe on March 27th, on that day. And then Witchbrook going to be dropping sometime this holiday of 2025, and The Eternal Life of Goldman in also the holiday 2025. So, Barry, what stood out to you from this first set of 10 games?
Well, I said No Sleep for Konami Dante was my game of the show. It, I was completely blown away. Did not expect a third game, and it has me very, very excited for July. Again, if you've never played this series, it is fantastic. Absolutely, these are the type of games that will take your expectations and be like, "This is a bottle of water for like 10 hours," and then suddenly be like, "Oh no, this was a phone the whole time. What are you, stupid?" And you'd be like, "How did that? How?" Boom! But it all makes sense. It's fantastic. Like everything you expect and that you think is completely wrong, and you can't guess the correct answer. So good, so well done. I am beyond ready to have my mind blown for a third game. So I hope it sticks the landing. Dragon Quest 1 and 2, like I said, absolutely excited about it. Radio Remastered, it's great to see the SMT games come back. Um, Shadow Labyrinth looks fantastic. Like I thought the episode, Secret Level was really bizarre. That was the first one I watched because I'm like, ooh, Pac-Man. And I was like, what the F am I watching?
Right.
Uh, but when I saw this game announced, I was like, okay, it makes sense. It's tie into this game. So it's Pac-Man, but it's really a Shadow Labyrinth episode.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, the gameplay looks a lot of fun. Patapon was fantastic on the PSP. My wife loved that game, so excited to see that. And again, it's a Sony game on a Nintendo. Should be talking about this. Story of Seasons is always good. I love the Harvest Moon games. I don't know if I'll have time for it. Metroid Prime 4, you know, phenomenal. I'm so excited for it. Disney Villains Curse, like a mobile game. A Witchbrook looks interesting. Witchbrook looks like it could be a lot of fun. I want to see more. And A Turtle Life of Goldman didn't really catch me.
Nice. Greg, how about you?
Pretty much the two staple ones that I had talked at the top of the segment. So basically, just like the Dragon Quest 1 and 2, and then Metroid Prime 4 were my two biggest ones that I was most excited to see throughout this entire direct. I do have to say that the Shadow Labyrinth did look kind of interesting, and I might be the only person that didn't quite recognize Pac-Man. That to me, I was thinking, hey, that's a chain chomp. So like, it kind of looks like one of those doggos from the Mario series to me. But I guess it was probably all the black and darkness of the shadows. But so I somehow missed Pac-Man. But that's probably be the third runner-up, at least from the first set here, and possibly even overall.
Nice. Yeah, and my apologies. I forgot I had notes that I was going to run through, and I just like on the fly decided to go 10 games at a time. So um, it, we'll change that up from we go. So but yeah, I think of the section, I think Shadow Labyrinth definitely seemed really interesting to me for sure. Patapon, as they were describing it, I just remember like I knew that this game existed already, but as they're describing it, I'm like, nope, that's not for me. This is not something I would enjoy at all. And then Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar is a new Story of Seasons game, right? But it looks old. It looks like it's a 3DS game that's like remade. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. Um,
I think it is a 3DS game remade.
okay. I got the impression that it was a brand
Yeah.
new game, but
Yeah.
I wasn't for sure. But
No, I think it's fun fact. Our friend Oni on our podcast, who used to do the Nintendo Everything podcast,
mhm.
he left to do translation work, and he actually worked on that game.
Oh, cool. Wow. That's
That's
really
really cool.
impressive. And then yeah, we get to see Metroid Prime 4. I think of the things that they showed off, the planet and you have to scan a lot of things, and then the gameplay just didn't really stand out to me. It was like, okay, look, it looks like Metroid Prime, and I don't know why it's been taking them this long to make this game. Um, but the story seems interesting. I'm intrigued by the story itself. And then, yeah, then there's some other games like the Disney Villains Curse Cafe. No, thank you. Witchbrook. No really thoughts on that. Eternal Life of Goldman, the only thing that it brought back to me was these thoughts of Ducktales, because he's bouncing around on a cane, and I was like, oh look, another game where an old guy bounces around on a cane. It looks fun, but I was just like, that's what stood out to me. So continuing on this section of headlines
Before
that
you
they
go,
had. Oh yeah, go for it.
before you go, I'm noticing now. There's a lot of times we do this podcast,
Yeah.
and I'll talk about games, and you two have no idea what I'm talking about. And whether it be
It's taken
Xenoblade or something else.
it's taken you this long to figure that out, Barry. We're on
No, no,
episode
no, no. I've
312.
noticed it. I know. But I want to put a stop to it now. I've talked earlier about opening up expectations. So I am going to offer a little bit of a challenge. All right? Listen to this. I think this is a very fair challenge. I want to open up your expectations. If you guys will the first AI game, you don't have to do the second one. The second one's great too. You will play through the first one. It is on sale right now on the eShop, and I will buy it for you. Each of you. I will pay you. And I'm talking digital, I'm not talking the physical. You can get the digital. I will buy it for you. And you have to play it. But I'll do that to help open your expectations. But you got to play through it. You can't play through like the first area and go whatever. Like you got to see the end. Everything makes sense in the end. So I'm offering up that challenge. I'm doing it live and recording. I'm putting my money where my mouth is here to try to help you guys open up your expansion,
Very
and you get
true.
a free game.
I mean, I'm up for it. I mean, the game looked interesting. I didn't know anything about it, but what we saw of this new one look intriguing. I'm not turned off by the game whatsoever. So I'm up for it.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't say no to a free game, but I don't know how much I'll enjoy it. But that'll be determined. It does look pretty interesting and everything. I'm not ragging on it now or anything. I'm like, oh, geez, Barry's gonna
There we
make
go.
us play through this awful game like a construction
So
simulator or something.
no, 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 nothing like that. I guarantee nothing like that. So good. So after the podcast, we'll settle it away, and we'll do a follow up on a future podcast where you guys get to talk about it. I'll talk about with you, but you know,
There we go.
and we'll see. There we go.
Sounds
See,
good. Sounds
opening up,
good.
and take this challenge. If you're listening to this right now and you haven't played the game right now into the 11th on the eShop, play it. The second one's on sale too. Play them.
All right.
I think more people need to experience these games.
So looking at the chat, Oki Reps says Shadow Labyrinth, Eternal Life of Goldman, Gradius Origins, Marvel game, of course, and Metroid Prime 4 are the ones that stand out. But I'll get that one on Switch too, the Metroid Prime 4, the ones that caught his attention. Looking back at this next set of headlines, they kind of broke it up in headline, big game, headline, big announcement. So the rest of those headlines in that second section after the Eternal Life of Goldman, we got Gradius Origins, which also includes Salamander 3. And that's going to be dropping on August 7th. We got Rift of the Necromancer that dropped that day. And also Tamagotchi Plaza. And this was probably the biggest thing that stood out to me from that game, that they pronounced it Tamagotchi. I thought it'd been Tamagotchi my entire life, but apparently at least the announcer said it was Tamagotchi, and I am not the only one that thought that was Tamagotchi my entire life. But anyway, Tamagotchi Plaza drops on June 27th. And then we got some more information on Pokemon Legends ZA. Luminous City is going to be the same as Pokemon XY. It's going to drop in late 2025. The tournament at night is called the ZA Royale. And then you start at rank Z and you move up to rank A throughout the game. And when you reach rank A, it's said that you will have a wish granted. And there's also going to be more secrets to uncover and more information on this game in the future. So, of that section of the headlines and everything, what stood out to you, Barry?
Yeah, like you, I was really shocked at the Tamagotchi. Like, no, it's Tamagotchi. It's always been Tamagotchi. It's been Tamagotchi since middle school when they came out. You will deal with it. Greatest Origins looks good. It's nice to see Konami making games and not pachinko machines, even if it is, remastering other older ones with a new one and thrown in there. Rift of the Necrodancer actually looks cool too. I didn't play the first one, but I really liked Cadence of Hyrule, so I might give that a shot. Pokemon Legends ZA, I was already sold on, and it looks better now. Like even the Z to A, I wasn't sure about why the name, but now it makes sense. Uh, was that the last one game you hit?
Yep.
Or did you? Okay, good.
Yeah. So, Greg, how about you?
Pretty much like the greatest ones that sounded kind of interesting, and it also even looked like they had parts of Life Force. I don't know if that's part of the Gradius series or not, but at least to me, I saw some parts that looked like it was part of like the game Life Force on the NES. So that's is kind of interesting. Like even just the Gradius style game, I've enjoyed like playing on the NES and whatever. So it might be kind of cool to see that. And then pretty much that was like the main one that stood out in this particular segment. So I haven't really done like Pokemon Arceus or anything like that, and I don't know if I'll do Pokemon ZA, but so I'm still kind of uncertain on the ongoing Pokemon adventure with my daughter. So I don't know where that's quite heading at this point in time.
Mm. Yeah, Pokemon is definitely the one that stood out to me. I like Gradius, but I'm not sure. I'll have to see. I'll have to watch some more gameplay and see what I think about that. And it's cool that we're getting a new game, brand new game in Salamander 3. Um, but yeah, the Rifts and Necrodancer is not really my thing. I'm glad it's coming over, but and then um and going to the chat, it looks like Brent's also saying he likes Tamagotchi better. I do too. I do too. But maybe it gets confused with Tamagotchi and Tamagotchi, and so they decided, you know what, we're just going to collectively call it Tamagotchi now. But yeah, that's I think Pokemon Legends is probably the big one, and I didn't get Arceus, and I still haven't played Arceus, and so
Arceus is so good.
I want to yeah, I'll be jumping as far as I know. I should be. I'm planning on jumping into this one, and excited for the enhancements that we'll talk about later with Switch 2 as well. And then we had a please look at this time where they announced Rhythm Heaven Groove. And they described it as having lots of funny little rhythm games. And really, honestly, the biggest thing that stood out to me from this game is that I think I'm going to get annoyed by the narrator saying, whew, every time, all the time. But the it already kind of got to me at this short trailer, but that's going to be dropping sometime in 2026. It's going to take them apparently that long to finish a Rhythm Heaven game. I was surprised by 2026 date. I thought maybe we'd actually get it this year, or that could be a game they just drop on the fly. But nope, we're getting it next year. So, Barry, what do you think about Rhythm Heaven? It's a big franchise coming back.
I'm so happy to see more franchises coming back. The last one we didn't even get physically here, which was on the 3DS. So it's great to see it coming back. And 2026 was weird for me too. I figured they must have something planned for Switch 2 this holiday that they don't want to overshadow this, because they're almost at this moment where they used to be, where they had portable and a home console, and then we're trying to balance. Sometimes they didn't balance well when a Mario and a Zelda game launched on the same day. Really weird times. So I'm wondering if they're like, hey, we're doing one game a month, but we're gonna alternate between Switch and Switch.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah,
Barry
alternate between
froze.
Switch and Switch 2 is what I think he was trying
I
to say
think
there.
that's safe to say, for sure.
Um,
So hopefully, oh, Barry's back. He didn't get
I'm
off all the
back.
way. There we go.
Yeah, somewhere between Switch and Switch 2.
Oh, and there he's gone. He
finish the
just can't
sentence
say
and
that
then
phrase.
dropped
Just can't
again.
say that phrase. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
dropped. But
Last
And he's
time it
back.
was Greg, now it's me. Look at that.
Yep.
So, yeah, so they don't want like Metroid to overshadow Rhythm Heaven Groove. So They'll probably have some kind of strategic planning. I don't think the game is going to take till 2026 to be done. I think it just when it falls into the release window.
Strategic. Yeah,
Strategic.
makes sense. Greg, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not really big into rhythm games, but as like what even just Barry just said, just happy that a series is coming back. I mean, I'd rather stuff come back, and for people that do enjoy the games to be able to play like the latest entries into the series. So I understand it's not the series isn't for me, and it likely never will be, but still happy for those that are going to be looking forward to it and able to enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah. Roth says Tamagotchi. Um, and yeah, I'm with you, Greg. I've never got really into it. I just have fond memories of the very first Rhythm Heaven game. It came out for DS, is that right? Or I think it was DS.
We, I thought, was
Was
it?
we okay?
No, no,
Whatever
it
one
was
was on
DS. No, DS
DS.
was the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, there
I
was
remember
DS
playing
one
the
and Wii.
demo of that with my wife, and there was like a chorus, a choral singers, and they were like, "Bah, bah, bah, bah," and my wife and I still do that to each other all the time. Uh, so that's my fond memories of Rhythm Heaven from the demo on DS. But then we got another section where they talked about digital games on your system. So we're getting a virtual game card. So when you purchase a digital version of the game, this loads a virtual game card where you can load and manage on your system, and you load which games you play on your system. So if you have two Nintendo Switch systems, you can inject one and play it on the second system whenever you want and wherever you want, just like a physical game card. And so you're going to be able to do that from an update that's going to be coming in late April. This is also going to allow you to use up to two systems, and you're going to have local communication, or local communication is required the first time when you're connecting. And then you can also connect locally to a family member's Switch system to loan out a game so that they can play on their Switch system. And games can be lent out for 2 weeks to one system at a time. Again, this is going to be available on a system update in late April. And this is also going to interact with the Switch 2 once that launches as well. So, yeah, Barry, what do you think about this virtual game card?
I mean, it kind of sucks that it has to be someone on your family account and someone local. Um, but I mean, it's cool. It's definitely one of those things where I can see myself doing it for like my son if there's like a particular game he wants, especially when he's young, and I'm not worrying about him like losing the cartridge. I could like send it to him, especially if it's something I already own digitally, and just be like, all right, here you go. But it helps too if like brothers, or siblings and share games that way. But you could also just buy the physical and do the exact same thing, and then you could always sell it if you don't want it. So
Sure, sure. Greg, what's your thoughts on virtual game card? Is this gonna make your Switch life a lot better?
Yeah, it probably will. I mean, I guess I was more surprised that they're finally doing an actual system update because you know how stabilized the Switch is by this point, where that's like the only thing they've been doing with it. I'm surprised that they actually announced an actual like hardware, like a system update, like an actual system update as a direct item. So um, but yeah, I think this will make everything a lot simpler. As you said, like it's a lot easier to share with family, and like Barry said, like it's even kind of stinks you can't just share it with like other people as easily unless you're like local or they're even like in the family group. And I don't know if like that's exclusive to you have to be at the same household to be in the same family group, or if they're gonna be cracking down on that kind of too to avoid like the Netflix password sharing debacle kind of situation. But um so that I do think it's kinda great. It'll be a lot easier to send a game over to my daughter's system if she wants to be able to play it. I know she was kinda interested into the Just Dance game that we need to do for our game chat later on. So, like, I know I can easily lend it to her, and then she can easily just be able to enjoy it for whatever the two-week period. So that's gonna be pretty nice for her to be able to do something like that.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I do wonder if there's gonna be any type of limitations, like, I do understand it's 14 days, but, like, are you able to set it again after that, or is it like 14 days and then you have to buy it, or like are you able to kind of perpetually send it every 14 days, like X times, or basically in infinity times until like you don't want to anymore? But
Sure.
that's where I was.
Who knows?
That's my main. Yeah, that's my main question with that kind of limitation. Or so I. They obviously didn't answer that, so I'm not trying to make you guys try to answer it for me. But that's
Oh,
the main. That'd be the only outstanding question I would have on it. But
it's a good question, and I before like my gut would say like why wouldn't you be able to loan it out? But I know when using like if you loan out an Amazon Kindle book, you can only do it once. And so, wouldn't, actually surprise me if they had said, oh, you can only loan it out once. I feel like they would have said something about that in the direct if that was the case, but maybe that's just wishful thinking on my behalf.
yeah, because I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to say like you need to be able to play whatever one of the Pokemon games like full end to end and put like whatever 100 hours into on this other system, but because I would think they might want to at least kind of casually still be able to play it like after the 2 week period, and so that's why I don't know if that necessarily makes sense to just do one and done. But I do understand that Nintendo doesn't really want to be making sure that like be sharing their stuff like is very easily, and even as I said with like alluding to the Netflix kind of password sharing kind of thing that can kind of cause some abuse things like say hey here's Mario Wonder and then you can have it for whatever like 2 months and whatever, and then like oh here's Breath of the Wild, you can have that for like a year, and like it's I don't know, it's kind
Hmm.
of a tricky situation to perpetually lend out stuff because that could lead to a loss of a sale kind of thing. Like if they like it after 2 weeks, then like, hey, you should probably just buy it and not be restricted by this.
Yeah. I think I'm mostly interested in being able to have games set to two different systems because there's a lot of times that I wanted to use my Switch Lite for a specific game and then also have, another game on my main Switch. And so it doesn't happen very often, but now to be able to assign your digital games to different systems is kind of nice. I think I'll probably use that more than anything else on the Switch. Now, talking on the Switch 2, the game share thing we'll talk about in a little later. That's more exciting to me than this sort of deal. But it is kind of nice, honestly, because I don't have anybody else on my family. I think like my wife, but she doesn't even have a Switch, so I'm not going to be able to loan her out a game. And I don't think you can't play the game at the same time, so it's still just one game. So I think that's where it's kind of cool, but it's not going to be huge. But let's keep moving on. We had Scissor Reel, where Nintendo highlighted six games in a row. So they talked about High on Life, which is going to be dropping on May 6th, Star Overdrive, which drops on April 10th, The Wandering Village on July 17th, King of Meat sometime in 2025, Lose Lagoon sometime this summer in summer 2025, and then Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time on May 21st of 2025. And so, yeah, any of these games from the Sizzle Reel, I believe we knew about all these games already. That's usually what they do with the Sizzle Reel. I wasn't familiar with all of them, but some of them. So I usually kind of got that idea that usually these are games that we know about already. Barry, any of those stand out to you? I think I know you're excited about Fantasy Life I.
Fantasy Life, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. What's interesting is some of these games are games I knew about for a while back, and I've actually tested. Uh,
Mm.
back when I was with Premium, we got to see some stuff early. So that's kind of cool to see them now in a Nintendo Direct and go like, oh, I already knew about that game. I've already played that game. I just couldn't talk about it. So yeah, it's that was the big one though for me is Fantasy Life. And Star Overdrive looks like it could be a lot of fun too. I want to see more.
Cool. Cool. Greg, how about you?
Yeah, I don't believe anything from this had stood out to me. I'm trying to remember because obviously we have like the other director still upcoming and everything, so I don't believe anything had stood out from this particular section. But obviously, I'll be re-reviewing as there's so much to cover.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I mean there's some games that I want to look more into. I think Star Overdrive is one of them. But yeah, nothing like really stood out. Next section of games, really to wrap us up, we got Saga Frontier Remastered that dropped that day on March 27th. Sorry, did I say I left out the 2? It's Saga Frontier
Yeah.
2 Remastered
The first
that
one's
dropped
already been on the Switch.
that day. And then we got Monument Valley 1 and 2, which has already been out for iPhone and iPad. It is now coming to the Switch on April 15th. Then Monument Valley 3 got announced, and that's going to be dropping sometime this summer. Everybody hates, sorry, I don't even know what I was going to say. Everybody's Golf Hot Shots is coming out sometime this year. And we've alluded to this already. It was one of the Sony games. Marvel Cosmic Invasion is coming this holiday. This is a new beat 'em up. And then we got another revived tied IP that we've been hoping for, and that's Tamagotchi Life Living the Dream, and that's coming out sometime in 2026. I was not a huge Tamagotchi Life fan. I thought it was silly, but I know a lot of people, and I think it's by design, it's silly. But there's a lot of people that love this game, and so not for me, but I know a lot of other people do. I think I'm most excited about Marvel Cosmic Invasion for sure, and Monument Valley is fun, so it's be cool to see the third one. Barry, you a Tamagotchi Life fan?
All hail the Virtual Boy. Uh, I thought it was interesting. I thought it was a quirky little game, and I love to see it come back because it's like, oh, Nintendo back in the 3DS, Wii, even the DS and Wii era, they were a little more expressive. They were willing to take more chances and not play it as safe and really create some fun and some unique IP. Uh, Smash, remember that? And even Odama at the end of the GameCube life. So it's great to see them be like, oh yeah, we can bring some of that stuff back and do some of that again. So I'm happy to see that. Whether I play it or not, it depends. My son will probably laugh his ass off at it, so I'll probably play it for that. Um, Marvel Cosmic Invasion, fantastic, and I love to see Saga Frontier 2 back. Keep bringing these old RPGs back, make them more accessible for everybody.
Greg, how about you?
The Tamagotchi Life does seem kind of interesting. I mean, I didn't really dive into it back on Wii and DS or 3DS or whatever. It does kind of remind me a little bit of guess it might have been a spiritual successor, the Metopia game that was ported to Switch. But so I don't know. I don't know if that might be something I might be a reason to try to check it out, but I don't really know for sure, and might be able to zany or whatever, too time demanding. I don't know. I'll have to further dive into it, I guess.
Brent says the Marvel game looks amazing, and I'm not even a big Marvel fan, but it takes you back to the arcade, and it really does. It looks like a fantastic arcade game. I love that we're getting some of those games, and I believe, did I hear this correctly, that it's the same either developers or publishers that brought us the Ninja Turtles, the recent Ninja Turtles game. I
Yeah,
think that's the
.mu.
case. Yeah,
It's
so
.mu.
it should be great for sure. So that'd be cool. Well, the last announcement that we got was not a game at all. It was the announcement that we already talked about, and that's of Nintendo Today app, the mobile app. So Miyamoto came on the screen and said that they're going to continue Nintendo Directs moving forward, but they're also launching a new channel in a smart device app called Nintendo Today that has new content every day. And after the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, we were told that they're going to be continuing to pop out a bunch of Switch 2 news, and that dropped later that day. All you need is a Nintendo account, and we've seen lots of different news drop that in that app. Some of the information are things that we know already. Some of it is information that is about specific games and events going on, like an Animal Crossing. And you can also highlight some of those events, and you can make a widget on your home screen on your mobile phone as well. And so you can do all those different things with the app. It's a free app. All you need is a Nintendo account, and you don't have to be an NSO member to have this. Just you needed a Nintendo account, and that's it. So Barry, what do you think of Nintendo today so far?
I mean, I downloaded it. I opened it 3 times total. You know, in the age of the internet, it's kind of like someone's gonna open it and see it and immediately be I want to be first to talk about this. So the odds are you're gonna see the story on the internet, social media, before you even have time to open the app.
That's true.
It's fine. The biggest takeaway, and it scared me when Miyamoto was talking about the Rex. I thought he was gonna say they were over, but he's like, "We're gonna continue."
Yeah,
That's the best news. Okay, cool.
yeah, yeah. Greg, what do you think of Nintendo today?
I definitely did get that same vibe that Barry did. I was like, oh my gosh, hopefully that's not the end of the directs. And I also really appreciated like the little homage to Awada with like the hand signals, like the direct to you. And like I thought that was a really great way to do that. I guess only one step further would have been if there would have been like a random like banana or piece of fruit in the background to pay homage to the very first original ones where they had even a little bit more silly with those. But I guess you can't get everything that you want, I guess. But the app, I guess, is kind of interesting. I've been opening up only a handful of times here and there. I guess I was expecting it to have a lot more stuff, and then like even as I was telling you guys before the show, I just saw like the Zelda thing. I somehow missed it on Facebook because I feel like everybody's just talking about the upcoming Switch 2 stuff. So I guess that just got dead and buried in there, and I fully missed like the Zelda movie reveal until like basically right before the show tonight. So I was really glad that it was still there, not just buried. And I guess to counter Barry, I guess that the design of the app is just to make sure that you open it first before you jump onto all your social media platforms. You can get all the latest news before you get spoiled by somebody else on social media.
Yeah. And I feel like Nintendo is wanting to have a little bit more control. I know they've been posting more and more on their own site. Nintendo.com is having more and more news stories just right over there. And so to direct them to your phone app and be able to pop those out with notifications and things like that makes a lot of sense. And they also have a lot of control over the app. Like they're not allowing you to even save images from it. I mean, you can do screenshots. I mean, they may end up figuring out that you can't and stop them at some point in the future, but you're not gonna be able to save the videos or say, just tap and hold and save images and things like that. And so it seems like they've got a little more control over what they put out in an app, and maybe that's by design as they continue to roll out announcements directly to us. I immediately thought of, if there was any existing blogs that are out there that was calling Nintendo today, that they just leapfrog them and just like, oh, sorry, now we own that. So who knows? But
Well, they already took our game chat thing, but we'll have
they
to talk about
did.
that
We're
later.
gonna get in
Yeah.
that in just a second. I'm alluding to what we're gonna talk about in just a bit. But yeah, Roth said lots of returning IPs in that direct, which is exciting. I know it. That's something Barry's always hoping for, and like he said in his predictions. So that's cool. So one more 2025 prediction correct there for you, Barry. So
Yep.
well, that brings us to the end of this Nintendo Direct, but we had two. We didn't just have one. We had two. One was expected. One was this one we just talked about was kind of a little bit out of the blue. Didn't really surprise us, but we weren't expecting it. Now let's move on to the one we've been expecting and we've been waiting for a really long time. If you didn't catch it, we did a live stream of our live reactions to the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. on April 2nd. So if you have not checked that out, you can do that after you listen or watch, or, if you're watching after the fact, pause it, go back to that and watch those live reactions where we responded right in the moment of what the different announcements were. And so at this point, we're not going to take it as a whole or individually like we normally do for Nintendo Directs. We're just going to hit some of those highlights and talk about some of those things that we've since learned even more about as well, and kind of just have a general discussion about the Nintendo Switch 2 in the context of the Direct itself. So we'll talk a little about stuff. And Barry, Greg, feel free to throw any other details that have been covered after the fact as well. Different things that have come out. If I forget something, just toss it in there as you're talking about each of these things as well. So as we've been doing with the other showcases, we're going to be playing them on the screen without audio, of course, so you guys can have something to look at other than just our faces. But I'll also to remind you of what we saw. And it was a fun little intro for this Switch 2 Direct that we saw at the very beginning. And then we got into details. So let's talk about the Switch 2 itself. So we know that the Switch 2 console is going to come with in the box. It's going to come with the console itself. It's going to come with the two Joy-Con 2 controllers. It's going to come with the Joy-Con 2 grip, the Joy-Con 2 straps, or the rails that you attach it to, and then the Switch 2 dock. An ultra high speed HDMI cable, which is in very, very important because the Switch 2 does have a 4K support, and so it needs the higher speed HDMI cable, and then the Switch 2 AC adapter and the USB-C charging cable as well. In terms of the Switch 2, it's going to be 1080p screen, a 7.9 inch 1080p screen with 60 frames per second in handheld mode. And if you attach that to the included dock, which has a built-in fan and an Ethernet port as well, that's going to get you up to 4K support at 120 frames per second. So it's going to keep that system a little cooler and hopefully avoid any cracking like the original Nintendo Switch had when it heated up. I got to experience that. And several other things about the Switch itself. We learned that it has game chat enabled as well. That you're going to be able to connect online and use that little C button on the right Joy-Con 2 to turn on game chat. And so thanks, Nintendo, for contacting us and asking us if you could use that. No, we know that is not an original term for us, but it's kind of nice to see that the same term we decided to go for our discussion-based review show, they decided to use as well. And you're going to be able to basically have the couch experience online, even be able to use cameras to talk to each other, to see each other as well, using the built-in microphone on the Switch 2, which apparently has some amazing noise canceling features within the system as well. And the camera, they also have, I'm sure, using AI, are going to be able to take out the background and kind of superimpose you on top of your gameplay video. As well, I've heard some different things about the system itself. I think it's going to use all 8 cores this time, if not have a 16 cores and pair it back to 8. So similar to what we had talked about in our last episode. I think I heard correctly that 16 gigabytes of RAM. I believe. I may be wrong on that, but I think that's what I heard as well. So this thing is pretty much, getting close to the powerhouse that we expected to see from the Switch 2, fairly equivalent to, I think, a PS4 Pro. I think as I was looking at the system, which is pretty much what we were hoping for. So, Greg, what do you think of the Switch 2 itself? All the different things that we learned about the system itself.
Yeah, that is very nice to see that it was the PS4 Pro, as you just said, 'cause I think that's about right where I had it. It was like the PS4.5 or whatever is what I kind of said, like that halfway kind of between the 4 and the 5. So that was one of my predictions right there, at least. So um, everything that comes included in the box, obviously to be expected. I think I did see like an article like uh, in our Discord that I guess the original HDMI cable can work. You just obviously won't be seeing it as crisp of a resolution or everything like that. So like you can use other HDMI cords, but just obviously it might have some issues with like visual glitches and other things like that because it's not the high capacity cable that is included. So there is that part of it at least there. And but yeah, I mean, it was basically everything at least I expected hardware wise, and really great to have all these things built in. And then I think I also did see something else where you can enable the background on the camera, so you can like see more of the place behind you. I mean, I think it's normally off by default, but I think they do allow you to turn that on if you wanted to try to, I guess, show some cool background stuff while you're gaming as well with your friends. So that's all really great to see that. And I'm also kind of intrigued to see how well the microphone actually will drown everything out. Like, I wonder if you like brought it to like a concert, like if it would really work the best, like kind of thing. That'd be a fun kind of test to do. But um, I don't know. Everything seems like really great so far that we have learned about it.
Yeah. Adding to the hardware, I forgot to mention that they bumped up the internal storage to 256 gigabytes as well. So a lot more internal storage on the Switch 2. However, you have to use micro SD express cards and not just the regular micro SD cards. So Barry, I know that's been. Have you had any luck trying to find a good micro SD express card? I know you've been looking, but and also, what do you think about the rest of the hardware?
It's exactly as I expected it to be, which is what I wanted. Pretty much Pro handheld, yeah, the enhance it. So like more like the Xbox Series S, you know, the dock confirmed 4K, which is something people are like, oh, even we were like, are they gonna go 4K? I'm like, no, they went 4K. It has the dock has a fan, so that tells you it's doing something. Uh, the game chat feature is interesting. I don't know how much I'll use it, but I could see. I'm gonna be interested in test the camera, and we definitely have to try something with it, and be be interesting if we can somehow like do a
In a game chat.
in a game chat in a
Yes.
game chat session. Um, I'm curious to see how the microphone works. I'm skeptical, and I I just like everything I've seen about it. To be honest with you, I mean, it would be nice to have the OLED, but I've heard the screen is beautiful. Um, but the battery life has been questionable, which is what I exactly expected
Mhm.
it to be a bigger battery, but not have a bigger battery life because it's more powerful. The memory inside the 256 is bad, and for people who have only have a Switch, they go, "Well, 256 gets me quite a bit with me." A lot of the games on the Switch don't take up a lot of room, and Nintendo themselves are wizards when it comes to compression. But when you get third parties and you get games with more power, they're going to take up a lot of room. And as someone with a PS5 with a terabyte that does physical games, those games have to install, and I'm constantly deleting games from my system just to play new ones. Games like Tekken is over 100 gig. That's a tenth of my size of the PS5 in
Mhm.
one game. So if we're gonna get a lot of these games like Elden Ring is gonna eat up probably all 256 or close to. Probably not. It's probably gonna be like 100 and something. But that's half your system memory in one game.
Mhm.
So you need to get a card. And right now the biggest card you can get is a terabyte, which I do have ordered from Amazon. Hopefully it comes in. It's $200. So whatever cost the system that you get, whichever one you get, you have to factor that in. And it's best to get get the card you want now and make it the one that's going to last as long as possible, so you don't have to deal with transferring and dealing with all that stuff. And that's the thing that sucks, is a terabyte is the biggest. So that to me screams, oh, this is going to be like the PS5 down the road, with all these big games. Now, the good news is that the Switch cartridges, unlike discs, fly off the cartridge. That's the good news. The bad news is that Nintendo decided to take the code in box to a new level with game key cards, which are terrible. So if you don't know what a game key card is, it's pretty much a card that has a download link on it. So you put the card in, it downloads the full game, and you can only play it if you have the card inserted into your system. At that point, you might as well just download the game on the eShop and not have to worry about having a card inserted in. It sucks and it's cheap, and get games that are fully on cart, and that will save you of memory.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think for me, I'm still kind of going back and forth on like why I guess these are so bad. I mean, it's an inconvenience that you have to pop the card in every time I guess you still play. I'm guessing it's still going to act like a physical card where you have to
Yeah.
have it in every time. But the only real difference is, oh, this is just going to prompt you to download it rather than having to put the code in. And so it's really not a huge difference, I guess. If you bought the cart, I guess you're planning on using the card anyway. The big thing that I noticed is that a lot of people thought that this was what they were going to do for every game. And so people like jumped to some conclusions on this and said, "Oh my gosh, they're not going to put any cards or any games actually on the cards." And that is not true. This is going to be an option, just like the key in box, just like the code in the box is already an option. And so I'm guessing similar to the code in box, very few publishers are actually going to do this. Most of the games are going to be actually on the cartridge itself.
So it seems a lot of game companies are using this as a cop out. Even Square Enix is doing it with Bravely Default, which is I think 11 gig. I think they found out it's 11 gig. And the Switch 2 cartridges are the same price as the Switch 1. Okay? So a Switch 1 cartridge, a 2 gig is $8, 4 gig is $9, an 8 gig is $10, and a 16 gig is $11. So it would cost Square Enix $11 per cartridge. Now these game key cards, they're probably cheaper. I don't know. They could be $4. All it has to do is hold the download key. So it doesn't need much. It could be the same as the $8 card, but either way, they're being cheap about it. And that makes the game servable. And it also means that 11 gig is now on your system as opposed to being on a cartridge where you don't need to worry about download. And it's faster too because you just pop the cartridge in and play as opposed to popping the cartridge in and now having to download. And if you don't have good internet, that takes it even longer. So there's been a confusion with the Nintendo Switch 2 edition ones too, where people have been like, "Oh, is it going to be a Switch 1 cartridge in there with the download code?" And Nintendo has been given mixed messages, and Nintendo really just needed to come out and say it. What they did is that it's going to be a Switch 2 cartridge that contains one game and the download, like the update, all on the cartridge at once. What we don't know is if, people speculate, maybe you could put it in a Switch 1 and it'll be the regular Switch. Like, no, it's going to be a Switch 2 cartridge with everything as if you had the Switch 1 cartridge and a download.
Yeah.
That's it. But at least it'll be all on card, which is good.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's keep on moving. Some other things to note about the system itself. They do have that second USB port on the top, and that's going to be able to be used for a few different things. One is to charge your system from the top. So that's going to be helpful for those of you that actually do play in tabletop mode. But you're also going to be able to plug a camera into it, and you can buy Nintendo's branded Switch 2 branded camera, or you can also pop pretty much most, I think, compatible USB-C cameras into your Switch 2 as well, and enjoy the video chat through game chat. So that's nice that you don't have to definitely use their camera itself. As we said, you're going to have the improved CPU and GPU performances. You're going to have a lot more crisp quality audio and also a 3D sound, which is kind of cool from the built-in speakers. They're going to simulate a 3D kind of environment. And then talked about how the Switch 2 games, or sorry, Switch games are also going to be playable on Switch 2, but also have enhanced versions of some games, and some games are also going to get a game share update as well. It's going to be allow you to share those games with other people that maybe don't have them. So this is what I was hoping for the digital game card, as we talked about on the Switch 1, but this is actually going to happen on some of the games for Switch 2. So similar to the one of the ones they talked about was Clubhouse games. And so if you're with other people and they don't have Clubhouse games on their Switch 2, you're going to be able to share that game with them and all play the game together. So that's cool. And of course, those virtual game cards are going to be in there. So all these different things about the Switch 2, pretty cool and everything. Let's talk about this elephant in the room. We're talking about the price. They left it completely out of the US, the North American Switch 2 Direct. Completely left the price out. We were left to go and look at it afterwards. And what we found out is the base console is going to be $449.99. So let's just call it $450 for a suggested retail price of $450 in the United States. And then they're also going to have a second SKU with Mario Kart World bundled in, and that's going to be I believe, I get this right, $500 for
Yep.
that one. So $499
Yep.
for that one, so an extra $50. And if you're wondering, is that a good savings? Yeah, it's going to be a good savings. It's a digital version of the game, but it's a good savings because Mario Kart World is going to cost you $80 when it drops, not 90 like some people thought. It's going to be $80, but still, that's $30 more than what we're typically used to from a Mario Kart game. It's usually runs this like $50, or maybe was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe $60? I forget. I got it so long ago.
I think it was 60.
Maybe even 60. So
Yeah.
$20 more for than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So game prices are going at least as high as $80. And they're going to be less than that. So we already know that I think that Metroid Prime 4, I think is priced at 70. And so, and then Donkey Kong, the Donkey Kong game, I think is also 70. So not all of them are going to be $80. But it looks like 70 is probably going to be the normal pricing for the games. Some of them are going to be a little more, some are going to be a little less. And then this overall system currently it is $450 and $500 if you want Mario Kart World bundled in. We were going to be able to start pre-ordering the system pretty soon. I believe was it April 18th? Tomorrow, April 9th.
It would have been tomorrow.
April 9th. Would have been tomorrow to pre-order the system. But and then of course we kind of left out the deal. I believe it launches on June 5th. And so we were going to be able to pre-order it, but now that is stopped because really unknown. We're imagining it's probably going to be because of tariff prices and different things like that. Potentially also some backlash from around the prices and different things. All these different factors may be playing into the price and the delay of pre-ordering, but that is the case. So you can't pre-order yet. We have no date in mind of when the pre-orders are actually going to open up, or if this is going to affect the overall price. But right now, $450 and $500 for the two different SKUs if you want Mario Kart World bundled in or not on digital, and then games ranging probably from $60 all the way to $80 right now. So, Greg, what do you think of these prices?
At least with the console, it was kind of what I was expecting, and I'm also kind of glad that like they are have like the Mario Kart bundle. I know that it's really rather infamous with the Switch One, the original Switch with the holiday bundle. But for me personally, I really enjoy Mario Kart. So that easily was basically the route that I'm gonna go once I can get my hands on a pre-order. In terms of like the actual game prices, it does seem kind of interesting. So I think Kit and Krista kind of were able to talk to some like I guess for like people that like work or did one of the events, and I guess they're gonna be trying this like variable pricing for this kind of release. So I don't even know if there is a standard of 70 or if it's just gonna be based on how much effort each of the different games took. So that was kind of the explanation of why Mario Kart World will be 80 as opposed to like the Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is 70, and also like Metroid Prime 4 as well there too. So it I guess it's kind of expected that the games kind of would increase in price as they get more complex. There's more graphics, teams are a lot larger. I mean, that's what I've been trying to explain, that it kind of makes somewhat sense for it to kind of get a little bit of a jump again. And it's also not like Tears of the Kingdom also wasn't $70 on the original Switch, so it's almost like in preparation for. Um, and in terms of other games as well, I think this is also kind of was foreshadowed when they said like um the two virtual ticket thing was going to be only applied to Switch One, because that to me that kind of sounded like the Switch Two games would be a little bit more expensive, so it didn't really make sense to continue two for $100, especially now as we're nearing $100 for a single game. That's a lot closer to it now, especially if like one of them is Mario Kart. But the main thing, at least for the Mario Kart pricing, is I have to wonder if they're finally going to have like dedicated servers in order to have um, better tournaments and also like kind of warrant the extra price. Because anyone that's played on Nintendo Online knows the internet connections are very abysmal and complete awful experiences. So if like the reason that Mario Kart specifically is going to be more expensive is just to do the nature of the online servers and making sure that the experiences are run a lot more smoothly, and they obviously stop anyone that tries to like hack in and do all the awful things during online play that the Wii suffered through. Then that kind of would I would feel better if that kind of felt into the higher price, but they obviously didn't say any of that, so it's kind of hard to swallow at this point. So I'm hoping that when they do the Mario Kart Directs further on in like 2 weeks or whatever, that they can kind of outline why this one is going to be like more expensive than whatever the Donkey Kong game. So I'm really hoping that is the case, but hopefully it's not going to be like a expected premium for a lot more of these major franchises. Like, is the next 3D Mario game going to also be $80? Is the next like 2D Mario game going to be $80? And like, oh, our smaller games like, oh, whatever, Donkey Kong can be 70, and other types of games can be 70. Maybe we'll even throw in like a Wario game at WarioWare at 60 or something like that. So it's kind of hard to know at this point, but it also didn't sound like they were kind of flatlining on like 70 or even 80 as like an average. They were going to try more variable approach where they might actually see other game prices that could be whatever, like 3DS, it'll be like $40 or something. Like, we don't know. I mean, that was kind of like the answer that Kit and Krista had gotten. So I don't know if we'll actually see a standard this time around, and hopefully they'll kind of help identify games that are like lower effort, like closer to shovelware or whatever, that really don't deserve to be whatever $70, and they can actually charge whatever $20 even though it's on like a cartridge. So I'm hoping at least that can be the case there as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. Um, and then I think Doug Bowser, president of Nintendo America, did go at least to Washington Post and said that they're going to have variable pricing. And so the kind of what I alluded to earlier, what Greg you were talking about as well. There's going to be every game that comes out, they're going to look at the breadth and the depth of the gameplay. He says, and how much durability over time you're going to have, the repeatability of the gameplay experience. All these different factors are going to play into how they're going to price each game. And so you're going to see some that are going to be, if they think it's a top notch, amazing experience, is probably going to hit that $80 mark. But then games that are going to be shorter or smaller or whatever, less polished, whatever it is, it's going to be lower on the pricing frame as well. And then go into the chat real quick before I go to you, Barry. Brent says $80 for a Mario Kart game feels like the landlord is raising the rent. I agree. It's a good analogy right there. But at the same time, you're like, hey, but I still enjoy this house and I want to stay here, or I still enjoy this apartment, so I want to stay here. So I get it. Video games have not really raised their prices in years, and so here we are now, where PlayStation, Xbox seems to be bumping up their prices. Nintendo's following suit as well. Kind of seems to make sense. They've even leapfrogged them a little bit. I get it, but makes a lot of sense to me. I don't like it, but it makes sense. And then OKE Reps says the prices aren't ideal, but nothing that warrants the internet uproar. I totally agree as well. People have been so ridiculous over these prices for sure, and people are just going crazy over this. Brent also says I generally don't pay more than $60 per game. The last one I got was Jamboree. I like the $5 Survivors games that he was talking about earlier. But Mario Kart is the game that everybody has, and an MMO version is definitely tempting. And yeah, Oki Reps also says Mario Kart 8 Deluxe lasted the lifespan of the console. I don't play that game, but any game that is worth it has to be that one. Yeah, if a game that's really going to be, if it's going to be worth that much, it's going to be Mario Kart. It's going to be selling like crazy, and people are going to be wanting to play that as well. Talking about like the next Mario Zelda game will probably also be hitting that $80 for sure. I mean, Tears of the Kingdom bumped up to that next price point. You better bet that the next 3D Zelda game is also going to hit that high price point as well. And then Brent also said that ultimately it will still sell another 500 plus million because the bump isn't that extreme. Right. It's not like they said, oh, the next Mario Kart game is going to be $150. So Barry, what are your thoughts on the prices? He said 50 million. Yeah, it's what it said 500. It was like, I didn't know if you were going for hyperbole there, Brent, or or if you were going reality. But 500 million or 50 million, we know Mario Kart's going to sell a lot. So anyway, Barry, what are your thoughts on the prices?
I think people are blowing this out of proportion big time. I think the internet exists so people can bitch about things. Would it be nice if video games were all $30 still? Yeah, it'd be wonderful. Everyone would love that, but it's not realistic. I mean, we've paid more cartridge games back in the day, and like I alluded to, Switch cartridges specifically are expensive. When producing physical games, that eats up a big chunk of the cost. That's just of the physical production, and you got to match the digital cost with the physical. And some people will say, well, then get rid of the physical, and I say, screw you. You always want options. But I did see an interesting post, and I want to read this. Someone on Twitter, Ninty Prime, said that he talked with his old college econ professor and asked his opinion on Mario Kart World costing $20 more than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe when it launched on the Switch. And this response really got to me. That's why I want to read this. This is not my words. This is not, I didn't come up with this. I wish I did. Well, this is a quote now. Well, there are multiple factors that go into pricing Nintendo. Will likely never talk too detailed about publicly because it's just how finances work as a business. So the Japanese yen has depreciated against the US dollar. This is bad news for any Japanese company whose primary territory is the United States, because any money made here will not convert well into yen. Thus, that alone means that they'll factually make less money on anything sold in the US than they would something sold in Japan or any other favorable countries. So now, that's the reality that didn't exist back in 2017. You have to consider the United States economy on top. $59.99 was what Mario Kart 8 Deluxe cost in 2017. Inflation alone, no other factors, makes that $78 today. you see that 79.99 price point, and it looks expensive. But inflation alone, and it's merely keeping pace. Despite this, due to how bad the yen does in exchange to US dollars, Nintendo is factually making less money profit wise per copy sold in Mario Kart World, even at that $80 price point, than they were at the $60 price point back in 2017. So while this looks bad for consumers, Nintendo is actually taking a hit even at that price. This is also likely why prices are so high in other countries too. The yen isn't really performing well against anything at this point. So if you ask me if Nintendo is overcharging for Mario Kart World, the answer is absolutely not. A slight undercharge. The game industry has been volatile for years, and while some of it is overspending, the other aspect is that companies are making way less actual profits per game sold because money just isn't worth the same. Everything has become more expensive. It is a tough pill to swallow, but video game consoles are a luxury item. Luxury items are often hit harder than essential items. The fact Nintendo and eventually PlayStation and Xbox hasn't passed all of this entirely has mostly been a great thing for the consumer, even if it's been bad for the video game makers. So overall, shock, but Nintendo can't ignore these factors, or it would cause extreme damage to the company's profit margins, which could, even if selling well, lead to layoffs and closures of studios. They may sell less copies of games this generation, and it may happen anyway, but they are banking on people really wanting to keep Nintendo in their lives. Time will tell if it works out. There's no right or wrong approach here. Every company is just trying to navigate this world's economy right. And I thought that was a really good, objective take.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of people forget about the Japanese yen and conversions and all that stuff. They just see 79.99 and they freak out. And there's a lot of factors that go into that. And the problem is when one person freaks out, everyone people like a person individual person is very intelligent. A group of people is incredibly stupid because all it takes is one person. Just and you could do this. Just walk into a crowded area and just shout fire. And you watch everyone just start panicking. Or
Please
if you
don't
don't
do
want to
that. We
cause
don't
that much of a
recommend that.
panic, if you don't want to cause that much of a panic, walk out, go into like a Walmart or Target or supermarket, step outside and just look up. Just look up. No screaming, just look up. Don't say anything, just look up. And wait about 2 to 3 minutes and then check around and see how many people are, what the heck is he looking at? And they'll do that because people are inherently curious and dumb. And the more that start looking, they'll all start looking. And they'll just be like, what do you, I don't know, you started it. We're got to be something up there. And there's nothing. So that's the problem. And especially with the age of the internet, where everybody feels that their voice is gospel. And I'm not saying my voice is gospel because it absolutely is not. It's an opinion. And that's all it is. It's a subjective opinion. But a lot of people get out there and they speak as if they're speaking fact and they're speaking like their opinion is fact. And that's not right.
Yeah.
If $80 is tough pill for you to swallow, there's the option to get the digital version if you want Mario Kart World. And there's the other option to play less games. Or, get this, there are sales at stores, especially for physical. Nintendo games don't go on sale often, but pre owned games do at places like GameStop. So you could always wait for like a buy two, get one free sale at GameStop and then get a couple Nintendo pre-owned games. You may have to wait a little longer, but you'll get them cheaper. There are options. Garage sales. People will have these at garage sales down the road. Not on launch day, but by the end of the summer, by the fall, there are always ways to get things.
Yep.
So I think the do I want the price to be lower? Yes. Do I understand why it is what it is? Also, yes.
Mhm.
Do I think the game will be worth it? Yes. Am I happy that there's variable pricing and that every game will be priced accordingly? Yeah, I am. And am I upset that Kirby and Mario Party are $20 for the update and not free? No, because they add extra content. You're buying the DLC and you're getting a free update. So there's a lot that people are upset about,
Mhm.
and a lot of it gets lost in the shuffle with just like verbal throw up online, and just take a second and look at the facts and decide what's best for you. And if it's too much, wait. Ask for a Christmas list. You don't have to get it at launch. It will sell enough Mario Karts. Trust me. I'm sure the Mario Kart bundle will be there to the day we die at the holidays. So you'll have plenty of opportunity.
It's true.
And thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
No, it's right on, and heck, if you an Ubisoft game, just wait 3 or 4 weeks and they'll drop the price considerably.
Yeah, easily.
And then you brought up a good point, Barry. The add-ons, the enhanced version of Switch games, could cost up to $20. I think it's going to depend on the game. I think I heard that's also variable. But the big thing is, if you are an NSO Plus expansion pack member, all that's included as well.
No,
So
not all.
not
It's
all.
just Zelda's.
There's certain
It's
games,
just
yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom
I
and
thought
Breath of the
they
Breath of the
Wild.
Wild.
said that it would be
Nope.
included.
Nope.
Okay. I'll
So,
have to go back
Yeah,
in
they,
so a
and
bunch
read
they
of
that
said
because
Zelda would be included.
yeah, a bunch of games have free updates. All those free updates are graphical updates, game chat, stuff like that. They're free. They ones like Zelda add a little bit of stuff, and that's why they're 10. And then ones like Mario Party and Kirby actually add DLC content, and that's why they're 20. So again, if you say, oh, $20 is too much for an update, but $20 is perfectly content, looking at it right, it's really DLC content with a free update with those two games.
Yeah, totally. And then looking at the chat, the OKE rep says all these studios shutting down, people upset about that and blaming the studios for layoffs, and then also complain when prices go up so that businesses can stay afloat. The internet is not based in reality. And then Brent also said that he played World of Warcraft for years and paid $15 a month. So in the big picture, $20 more just up front for a video game is not that big of a deal. But it might be harder to buy a bunch of big titles at once. Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you were saying, Barry, is like maybe you just have to regulate how many games you get at a time.
Regulate. Yeah, and that's the nice thing about Nintendo is they usually do a game a month or a game every other month. So in reality, if you just play Nintendo games, you're fine. You should be able to do that. Or here's a thing. Now get something that may be hard for people to hear and hard for some people to do. But skip just 2 days a week in a month, or just 2 days in a month. 2 days in a month, don't go to Starbucks in the morning and you could get your Mario Kart World. Just 2 days of suffering. That's all you have to do. Don't go to Starbucks in the morning. Boom. Make coffee at home like a peasant. And you know what? You get yourself Mario Kart World.
That's true. Let's move on to games. We're gonna get a ton of games were announced. I'm gonna hit several of them as I just run through some, but we're gonna get a ton of games for Switch 2. Starting with NSO is going to be updated for the expansion pack. Is going to include GameCube games. We're going to get games like F-Zero GX, The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and Soul Calibur 2, which has Link in it. That's going to be available at a launch, and then I also believe what's the other one that they showed off that's going to come later? Ooh, I forgot what it was.
They showed a number of them, like F-Zero.
They showed enough.
F-Zero is coming, and Fire Emblem is
F-Zero's
coming.
coming now.
Sunshine is
F-Zero
coming.
GX is now.
Yeah, the F-Zero, Zelda, and Soul Calibur are coming at launch, and then there was one other one they showed off that I'm blanking on.
There was Fire Emblem, Pokemon XD.
Sunshine, I know, was on there.
All right.
Sunshine was there.
Lots of GameCube games that are going to be coming out playable on the Switch 2. And then we're also going to get Mario Kart World, which is like this open world kind of Mario Kart game that has 24 racers, a lot of those different things. We're going to find out a lot more about that on April 17th on a Nintendo World Mario Kart World Direct that's going to be dedicated to Mario Kart World again on April 17th. So just a few days away as of this recording. And then we also got Donkey Kong Bonanza that's going to be dropping on the Switch 2 on July 17th. So pretty soon after the system launch. And then Mario Kart Party Jamboree is going to get a Switch 2 edition. Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, also Switch 2 editions, as well as a Zelda Notes app that's going to be updated on your Switch online app on your mobile phones. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is going to get a Switch 2 edition update. And then we got more information about Metroid Prime 4. Again, still just launching sometime in 2025. We got more information about the Pokemon Legends ZA Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Kirby Air Riders is a new game that's going to be dropping sometime this year. We got another game, brand new game called Drag and Drive, and it looks like Drag X Drive. And this is a 3v3 wheelchair basketball game, which utilizes the mouse controls for the Joy-Con 2 controllers. So you can put them on your lap or a desktop and push those forward like you're pushing the wheels of a wheelchair. And then we also got this Switch 2 Welcome Tour, which is yet another thing that I think we all agreed on the actual live reactions. We have no idea why this is not a pack-in title. I think it's going to cost like $10,
It's
but
10
it's going to be
bucks.
a download after the fact. So of those games, before we jump into all the third-party games that they announced, from the first-party stuff, what stands out to you, Greg?
Well, most certainly the more exclusive games like the Mario Kart World. I'm a huge Mario Kart fan, so pretty much that's guaranteed that I'll be getting the bundle and really enjoying that one there. The Donkey Kong Bonanza looked really incredible. I also really like the 3D Donkey Kong games, and they haven't really had too many of those. I think the last one was the 64 one, so I'm really happy to see DK going into 3D again, and also that looks like an incredible like collectathon style game, just like the 64 one. The GameCube games are also pretty exciting. I'm hoping to do some more Soul Calibur 2, and along with finally be able to play that Fire Emblem game that I have missed from so long ago. So it'll be really great to see that as well. I don't know if I'll be doing a lot of the Nintendo Switch 2 editions. Most at least for Forgotten Land, I probably will because it's like a story mode that they added on, and I really, really enjoyed that one a lot. I don't think I'll be double dipping back into the Zelda games, even though like those updates are very much appreciated and even free. But don't think I really need to revisit those. And then I think that was mostly about it for this section. But I probably missed some other ones there. But it'll probably just to be dependent on like how often I'm really playing them. I haven't really played a lot of Jamboree, so I don't know if I'll be looking to upgrade it right away. I mean, but it's going to kind of depend on what kind of content is there and all that kind of stuff as well too. So I don't know how many of the updates I'll be diving into though.
Yeah. Going to the chat real quick. It said Brent says that his wife and her friends love Mario Kart. I know she's going to get it, but if he doesn't get Larry Koopa and his blue scooter, he's protesting. And then OKE Reps says the only first party game I paid more than $39.99 for is Tears of the Kingdom. I'll just wait for the sales. So that's yeah, I'm excited to play a lot of these games as well. I think Mario Kart is definitely the big one that stands out to me. For sure. Pokemon I talked about earlier, that'd be exciting, and that stinking welcome tour I wish was just included. I'm just gonna probably watch someone else play through it on online and get the experience that way. And I'm gonna pay $10 for that. Uh, but what do you think, Barry?
So obviously Mario Kart, Kirby, Air Riders, like absolutely. As for Nintendo Switch 2 editions, If they're complete on cartridge, I will personally purchase to have in the collection, just because I do collect Nintendo first party stuff. Of the ones I will play, Kirby, Forgotten Land, because of the new content. I will play the new content, and Mario Party potentially to mess around with it and see, especially as my son gets older. I think some of those other things will be fun, especially like the ones that you control, like with the microphone. I can see him really having fun with that. And then I'll do the Nintendo Switch 2 editions of like Metroid and Pokemon because they'll be brand new. And as for like the Nintendo Welcome Tour, I'll probably get it to mess around with it. Maybe we can get review codes, $10. Maybe
Maybe.
maybe they'll be like, hey, guess what? We're gonna pack it in as our way of saying sorry, the price is too high. I don't know.
Yeah, that feels like that 1-2 switch thing, and like, why didn't it just become part of it? I mean, like,
Yeah.
This is less
I
of a game
that
than 1-2
that
Switch,
is,
though.
I mean, that is
Well,
like
we don't know
my
that.
yeah.
That's
That
true.
is
I mean,
pretty
What
substantial. That's why they feel they want to cost
from what
charge.
they showed off in the Treehouse Live, it doesn't seem like much of a game itself. Like there's some tech demos that are included in it, and that's it.
The biggest argument is that Astro's Playroom came with every PS5 and
Mhm.
is a short but very fun game for free. And this feels less than that, and it's $10. And I would gladly pay $10 for Astro's Playroom. I had a blast with that game.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to sell the features of the system, you would think that that would be kind of included, like almost like the first thing you see when you load up, like, hey, you can learn more about how the Joy Cons are magnetic, and you can see all this other stuff. Like, I don't really understand like why that's not like included like with the purchase of it. I mean,
Right.
maybe like 4 or 5 years down the line, sure, they might end up bundling that in there, but to not have that at, like as like a throw in pack in like system tour thing that is kind of mind boggling, like to me at least.
Yeah, I agree. I, and they did it with like the 3DS had face raiders and the AR cards and all that stuff built in. And this is essentially like a similar sort of thing. It's teaching you the features of the system, throwing some tech demos in there. This is how things would work. It makes sense to include it. And I think they're probably going to get not very many people downloading it if they end up, you know, charging like they are. If they threw it in, they probably actually would get a few more people to play it. But
Oh, I think they get a lot of people to play it just out of curiosity.
yeah, if it was built in, for sure.
Yeah.
But if I'm downloading it, I can't imagine this selling very well. Let's move on because we are well over 2 hours already. And so I want to move on to get some third-party games, and we saw quite a bit. I'm just going to run through the titles. I'm going to leave out all the launch days. Some of them don't actually have launch days or launch windows anyway. But we're getting a ton of third parties coming over, or some of them brand new, like the Duskbloods is a brand new exclusive third party game on Switch 2. We're also getting Hades 2. We're getting EA Sports Madden. Madden's coming back to Nintendo. So we're getting that along with Sports FC, which is their soccer game that replaced FIFA. And then we're getting NBA 2K and WWE 2K. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment is taking you back to the Age of Imprisonment from Tears of the Kingdom and playing in the Hyrule Warriors style of Zelda game. We're also getting Split Fiction, which has been getting a lot of praise on other systems. This includes a free cross play on other Switch 2 with Friend Pass. So that's going to be exciting if you want to play that with your friends. Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition is also coming to Switch 2, along with Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Street Fighter 6 is coming over to Switch 2. This is going to be one of the games that is a cartridge key. So you're not going to have to download Street Fighter 6. And then Sid Meier's Civilization 7 Nintendo Switch 2 edition. which I believe is going to be a separate game. This is not an enhanced edition. This is a completely different game than the Switch version. Hogwarts Legacy is also coming over to the Switch 2 as well. Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster is another one of those download games on the cartridge. Borderlands 4 is going to be coming over to Switch 2, along with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, Elden Ring, the Tarnished Edition, Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, Fortnite, surprise, surprise, Enter the Gungeon 2, Hitman World of Assassination Signature Edition, and Project 007, which is a James Bond game, coming to Switch 2, along with Starseeker, Astroneer Expeditions, Demon X Machina, Titanic Scion, Deltarune, Survival Kids, Star Wars Outlaws, Hollow Knight, Silk Song, and more. So lots of third-party support. Greg, what stands out to you?
Quite a lot, actually. So, like, there's a number of them that, like, I just being a sole Nintendo console owner that I missed out on. So, like, Elden Ring sounds really intriguing. I understand there's quite a difficulty curve as it can be like Souls-esque and whatever, but even that, it's still kind of um, piques my interest to try it out. Definitely Silk Song. I've been waiting for the Hollow Knight to follow up for quite some time, as with a lot of other fans are as well too. I'll probably be actually double dipping with the Hogwarts Legacy because I know at least the one on Switch was kind of filtered back just because it wasn't as strong, and I think there was like, some features that had to be cut out of it, and there was also some not very good load times and stuff that kind of went with that. So it'll be a good opportunity to check that one out as well further into it. Even like Final Fantasy VII Remake, I've never played Final Fantasy VII at all because that's been the PlayStation kicks kick a game that kick that off. But so I'm really hoping to probably be able to enjoy that missing part of Final Fantasy. So I mean, there's and even the Bravely Default Flying Fairy, I absolutely love the 3DS version, and I would probably be kind of interested to almost kind of replay it and see the graphical overhaul and be able to enjoy it once again. So, I mean, there's quite a number of third-party games that have actually come out to I'd be interested into. Some revisiting, and then some just getting for the first time.
Nice, nice. Yeah, and then there's so many third-party games. I think that's the hardest thing. I think Nintendo, showed off all these games, gave high prices, and then says, "Hey, if you can't, if we can't afford them, just buy less games." Yeah, but they showed off a whole bunch of stuff that I want to play. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Barry, what third-party games stand out to you?
Hyrule Warriors, of course. Definitely. Super excited about that one.
How did
Fast.
I miss that one?
Um, yeah, so many. Professor Layton, of course. Games we talked about. Rune Factory. We're doing the Switch version, Switch 2 version of that. Um, ones I like Bravely Default. I don't know if I'll play it again, especially since it's a game key and that kind of pissed me off. Maybe if it was super cheap digitally, I'll grab it because to me a game key is just a digital copy anyway. Um, 7 Remake is intriguing. I played it already, but I'm interested to see if it's complete on cartridge if they actually do release it that way because the bonus story, the intermission story with Yuffie was only ever digital. Even the PS5 version, which was the PS5 release, it came with a voucher for it. Only Remake was on the disc. So I'm interested to see how they handle it. Games like Elden Ring, I loved, and Greg, I think you'll enjoy it. I beat it. Um, they make it easier with shadows because for bosses you can summon different helpers that are NPC helpers. And in that type of game, it's so helpful when they pull the aggro and they tank so you could roll away and use a potion. Makes a big difference. So I think you'll have shadows from the beginning, but you'll get them pretty quickly. But yeah, it's a fantastic game. I think for me, it's a lesser of a list because I do have a PlayStation
Hmm.
and an Xbox. So a lot of these, um, so, but they're fantastic. Not to take anything away from them. There's so many good games, and the new one from Software that people are calling Bloodborne 2. Uh, I'm intrigued. I want to see more.
Yeah, yeah. Same. And the fact that it's like multiplayer and stuff online, this Dust Bloods game, yeah, I think that's again, like you said earlier, Greg. If I really hope that they improve the servers and online game, gameplay is going to be good, because some of these games like Mario Kart World, Dust Bloods, and several others, even Madden, they're going to require a solid connection online, and so it better be good. I think uh, Hyrule Warriors is definitely something that stands out to me. Split Fiction. I was thinking about getting it on Xbox anyway, and if it's coming out for Switch 2, then I'll probably slide over there. That's exciting. I've heard nothing but really good things about that game. And yeah, I mean, there's other games like Borderlands 4. I'm like, that's cool that it's coming. I've never got into the Borderlands games, but I know they're great. I know people love them. It's a lot to bite off now that I'm thinking about catching up on 4+ games. Uh, but that's exciting to have them come over, similar to Elden Ring and stuff like that as well. So it'd be exciting. I think all of us are big, GoldenEye fans from back in the day as well. So new 007 game that could be interesting as well. So looking at the chat real quick though, looks like Kajimi Kasen says, I'm interested in Star Wars Outlaws and Hyrule Warriors. And then Brent says, when people beg for a game like 15 years and then they finally do it to you, it's going to go well. And then Kajimi also says, it's true, there's a lot of games that look forward to. I can't honestly play them all. Yeah, I think that's the problem, and I'm happy for you, Barry, because you played a lot of these games already on other systems. But now they're coming over on Switch too, and
Yeah.
even though I have an Xbox, I have games to play. I can play on PC. I prefer to play on Switch, and I don't get
Yeah.
very many games on the other consoles. I have very, very, very few games on these other consoles. And so I don't have a lot of them. I never played Elden Ring on Xbox, for instance. And so getting to play it on Switch 2 will be exciting. But at the same time, I don't know if I will, but it's exciting to know that I can.
Yeah, and I'm sure I'm utilizing a lot of the sales because I know I spoke like of all these games I'll be looking to get. It's not gonna be like, oh, I'm looking to buy like 6 games this month, or like 8 games, because all 8 of these are games that I want to play. So I mean, I'm gonna be definitely try to be smart about it and be like, well, I'm still playing Mario Kart. Do I really need another game or whatever? So like, it's could be a lot of stuff that gets added to the backlog and try to get it at a better price than possibly launch price then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hiawatha
Yeah,
said
I
in the
forgot
chat,
about Demon X Machina too.
yeah, Demon X Machina. Man, there's so much, so many games. It's gonna be so little time right from the very beginning. So it's exciting for sure. And I think, yeah, as you've heard us say, I think the price, yes, it's higher. And would we love to pay less? Absolutely. But I think it makes sense for the most part. We would, love to be paying less overall, but I think that tweet you read earlier, Barry, makes a whole lot of sense. Inflation's a real thing. There's tariffs, a real thing. The world's economy and all those different things going on. We kind of expect, it sucks, but it's kind of expected that prices are going to go up over time. So I thought it'd be fun to, before we wrap up, we're already going long on this one, but to quickly look back at our predictions from our last episode and see how we did. So I don't know if you guys have your predictions pulled up and kind of look over.
Oh,
You don't have to
no.
go through every one of them necessarily, but just kind of glance through it and see like how did you do on your predictions overall. So Barry, I'll let you go first.
I deleted that I did for that episode. I wrote them down in a file and just deleted it
You deleted
because I was like, this isn't my big thing. But I'm trying to remember. I think I had $4.49 as the price. I had summer as my
Yep.
release date, which is exactly when it's coming out in June. I had VR, which did not show up. I did have game enhancements for Switch to Switch 2.
Mhm.
So I think I did pretty okay from my memory from last episode.
Yeah, I think you did too. Yeah. Greg, how'd you do?
I did pretty decent. I think where I got lost the most points was all my expansive list of games that I was extremely hopeful for. But I mean, like with the tech specs, I was like spot on. Like I was saying, it was gonna be like basically the PS4 Pro, and then also was saying like the mouse mode and amiibo support. And I know we even didn't even cover that they already announced like new amiibos for like the Street Fighter series and stuff for that game, and even like new ones for I think the Age of Imprisonment as well too, like for the new characters there. But then for even like the launch games, I said like the Mario Kart game along with like the I guess like that tour game as I counted for the other one there. So that those two are spot on. And as I said, basically all of my other games that I listed were basically wrong outside of Metroid Prime 4. But um,
Well, you guessed
then
Mario Kart, but that was a given.
yeah. Yeah, and then in terms of like the other ones, I was spot on. Street Pass did not come back. We didn't hear anything about the IR camera, so like I made those kind of the not kind of prediction that Barry likes to do. So I was correct with those returning features not coming back. Um, and then in terms of the price, I don't know if I actually said it like on stream, but I did have like two different price points on my spreadsheet, and one of them was the 449. So I mean, I would think that I'm kind of qualified for it. I don't really hope that I had specified that on the last one or not, but then I know for the date, I tried to guess the actual day, and unfortunately, it was kind of off. But it was, I guess, in all things considered, it was actually right between my two. So I guess that's a win because I said it was like the last like Thursday or Friday of May, and then went all the way through like the third week of June. So I mean, it was basically it's whatever the first week of June. So I guess that's kind of right. I mean, I basically got like the window, but I know I got very Pacific, so I don't know how many points that really necessarily counts for, but
Yeah, yeah, you got pretty close. You actually went for a day there. I did too, but I got it wrong. But I'm okay with that. Uh, and before I go through mine, Kajimi said I called it. I said May through June release, and our podcast before the direct. And then Roth said he was hoping for Mario Kart having sightseeing photo mode, but then also a prediction with the Bluetooth upgrade, and that actually happened as well. And then let's see, Brent said still curious how they're going to mix it up with new 3D Mario and Zelda games. I think we are too, for sure. And then super surprised to see a new Donkey Kong instead of Mario Kart. Yeah, I think we were all as well. If you look at our our reactions, our live reactions, we're all like thinking it was going to be Mario, and then all of a sudden Donkey Kong came out. Definitely surprised us as well. And then Roth also guessed a summer release, and Brent's thinking that Mario universe is definitely coming, and Kajimi is 100% agreement with you on that. Um, yeah, I in general, I'm not going to go through all of mine because I had a lot of stuff around the tech specs, but I think I was generally spot on around a lot of stuff. Some things I got wrong. I was hoping for more battery life and things like that. I was thinking 128 onboard storage, but would love 256 or 512, and they gave us 256, so that was kind of cool to see. And dock adds extra power. I was thinking there'd be a GPU like bump, like something in there other than a fan. But hey, if all all it needs is a fan to give us the higher specs when it's plugged in, then great. So yeah, I think a lot of those things I got correctly as well. I was hoping for new 3D Mario, Animal Crossing, Pilot Wings, Mario Paint. Never happened. But of course, Mario Kart and Metroid Prime were shown off, but those were definitely givens. I was hoping for GameCube and Wii. I was hoping for Wii as well on NSO. We got GameCube, so that was exciting. And then my price was $50 less, basically, than what they were, what I was hoping for. And then I guessed September 30th for release date, and I was wrong, and I'm okay with that because we're getting it sooner. So yeah, it's just fun to kind of look back and see how we did. Final thoughts. We need to wrap this one up soon. We're almost at 2.5 hours, but quick final thoughts about the Switch 2 Direct. Greg, what do you think?
I mean, honestly, I was completely blown away. It was a lot. It was like pretty much exceeded my expectations, and we got a lot of that stuff that came out of nowhere, like the GameCube stuff. And I'm just really happy that everything's like completely official. And I've just been counting down. Initially, I was counting down the days until the pre-order, but now that's kind of unknown at this point. But I did sign up to be able to pre-order from mynintendo.com, so I do have like a backup source there. So basically, it's like a lottery type system where you get to put in your Nintendo account thing, and it verifies that yes, you've played your Switch for more than 50 hours, and you have a Nintendo account and all that kind of fun stuff. And then you'll be able to like pre-order it on like May 5th or something like that. They'll start letting some people in from the lottery system. So, um, yeah, I'm really hoping can't be June 5th or 6th. Can't come soon enough.
Yeah, Barry, what'd you think overall?
Yeah, like Greg, I was very happy. Activity about the price and the confusion on what's physical and what's not. And I had a roller coasters afterwards. I was very happy, and then when I was like, "Are all the physicals going to be game keys?" I was unhappy, and then I found out that's not the case. Most of them are physical. I was happy again. Um, it's been a roller coaster, I think, but when you sit down and you think about it, I think I am very pleased. I plan to get a Switch 2 at launch. I plan to enjoy the hell out of the Switch 2. The one surprise that I was not expecting was that I was going to be keeping my Switch 1 where it is. Because the Switch 2, while it plays the Switch 1 games, most of them, there's a list of games that have problem emulation. The Switch 1 is not playing them natively. And with the inability to use SD cards, you have to use the SD Express, which are more expensive, and games being going to be taking up more space. I'm going to be keeping my Switch 1 library on my Switch, my digital stuff, and I'm going to keep that hooked up. I'm going to get a 2 terabyte card for the Switch 1, and move everything there, and uh, and just keep my Switch hooked up with my Switch 2. And if it's a Switch 1 game, I'll probably play it on the Switch 1 to use those memory. And if it's a Switch 2 game or Switch 2 version, play it on the Switch 2. Because especially in my line of work, what we do with reviews, and with me at PM, we release stuff. We're still gonna release stuff on the Switch 1, and the Switch 1 isn't gonna die on June 5th. There's gonna be more games. So when we get review codes for a game on Switch 1, because I'm not going to use up some of that special, limited express hard drive space for Switch 2 only stuff. So I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting the Switch 2 to replace my Switch 1, and now I'm actually going to have both consoles together.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And there's absolutely zero thought in my mind. There's no way I'm replacing this beauty anyways. So like
Yeah.
there's no way I'm like, hey, GameStop, here you go. Give me $5 for it. Like there's no way I would ever do that. So I mean, I already knew I was gonna need both systems regardless. I don't know how much I'll play the original one, but I mean, probably similar to Barry, I'll try to keep most of it over there unless it's whatever. Like, hey, I'm gonna start playing this Switch 2 edition and can transfer it on over there.
Well, you can transfer the save data. So, like even
Yeah,
Kirby, like I would get the Switch 2
yeah,
edition, but with the NSO, take the save data and bring that over to my Switch 2. But yeah,
Mhm.
we're gonna get review codes for Switch 1 stuff still. So
Yeah.
if I'm paying $200 for an Express card, like I want to make sure that that's staying with Switch 2 only stuff. Like I don't need filler on that.
Brent says, hope they do dig up some of their old IPs or continue to maybe as well, like Star Fox. Yeah, the fact that Star Fox is becoming an old IP now is so unfortunate. Yes, I hope we get a new Star Fox as well. And how about a new story this time? But let's look ahead to the next couple weeks. Our next live podcast is going to be on April 22nd. That's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time, as normal, streaming on online. But you can catch it after the fact, as usual, and subscribe to your favorite podcast app to get that, or watch the YouTube version afterwards. But until then, there's some different things coming out. And first of all, before we get to the games that are coming out, there's a Triple I interactive event that's going to be happening on April 10th. So just a couple days away as we record this on April 8th. That's at 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern. And you can check that out at tripleinteractive.com. That's III hyphen interactive, initiative. .com. I said interactive. It's Triple I Initiative. And then as far as the games coming out, we're going to be scrolling those on the screen like normal, compliments of Metacritic. But just a few games that stood out to me as I was looking through the list. Like April 10th, we're going to get ACA Neo Geo Selection Volumes 3 and 4, and also a game called Pocket Bravery. And then on April 15th, we get Monument Valley 1 and 2 that we talked about earlier. So any of those games you're looking forward to, or maybe some other games you're looking forward to playing over the next couple weeks, Greg?
I don't think there's anything that's in this initial release of games, but I'm still got plenty of games on the backlog to kind of try to tackle, and especially now that I got somewhat caught up on our game chat games, so that's pretty much primarily what I'll be continuing to push forward and continue through some of the backlog items.
Nice. How about you, Barry?
I'm going to be finishing Xenoblade X, and my plan was to do the newest Atelier game, but Xenoblade took longer than I thought, and I'm going to instead be doing some game chat games while waiting for Lunar to come out, because Lunar comes out, I think, before our next podcast, and I've been itching to play through those again. What great RPGs.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I don't really know what I'll be playing, except for I think I'm going to be playing this AI game. I hear that Barry's going to give me for
Yeah,
free, so maybe I'll be playing that over the next
that's the
couple weeks.
stipulation. You got to play.
Gotta play it. So yeah, I'll be playing that one. Hopefully, Greg will be playing it as well, and we'll get a chance
Yep,
with that one.
it's
But
been so long ago since we mentioned the challenge that I almost like forgot that I committed to a game here. So, but yeah,
it's gonna happen. But yeah, I have no idea what else I'm gonna be playing over the next couple weeks. My life is busy and all that stuff. But I'm sure I'll get some time with some games. And how many hours are we talking for this game, Barry? Like how many? What should I set aside?
You know what? I'm gonna go live right now to How Long to Beat.
Okay,
Because I don't remember how long it took me. I will tell you this: I was playing it with my father-in-law in town, and he is not a gamer, but he sat and he watched through the whole thing. He was like engrossed in it. So
nice.
someone who's not a Somnium. I looked up just AI and it gave me like every game. All right, so AI Somnium Files main story 23 hours, main and extra 27 and a half. The second game is 27 hours.
Okay,
Completion
okay,
is 30. But I mean, it's not something that it's like you have to play all at once. It's broken up.
nice,
But you might find yourself like a murder mystery. Like, you know what? I got to see what happens next because that's what it is. It's the game is a murder mystery. If you don't know the premise of the game, literally the whole premise is you are a cop, and the idea is when you get no, a normal cop shows you interrogate the suspects and they tell you whatever they want to say. In this, you actually get to go inside of their minds and dig through their trauma and their mental blocks to find out the truth. Because a lot of times people don't remember things correctly, and the reenacts the crime scenes and trippy and cool, and you got to decide what's the best avenue. It's a very unique game, but it's a murder mystery. It's an adventure murder mystery. Yeah.
makes sense. Hmm. Oh, there he is. I thought we lost you, Barry. Who knows? It might happen pretty
Yeah, I
soon.
froze for a second. I thought I might disappear for a second.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is we're here at near the end of this episode anyway, and thanks for sticking with us. This has been a long episode. This is almost like it's like E3 again. Remember those
Oh
like
yeah.
almost 3-hour episodes we have for E3? Lots to cover. It almost kind of felt like an E3 presentation. That was exciting. So yeah, thank you guys for sticking with us. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app or here on YouTube as well. Hit that like button if you're watching on YouTube as well. That's a huge help for us. It's just a little click that really helps us a lot. Share this with other Nintendo fans that you know. And also, we want to thank Magic Mind for sponsoring this episode once again. Head over to magicmind.com/NF. That's magicmind.com/NF20. So don't forget that 20, NF20. Or you can follow the link in the show notes or the YouTube description to get 48% off your first subscription. Or you can also get 20% off a one-time purchase with the code NF20 at checkout. And again, thank you so much to Magic Mind for sponsoring this episode. We're going to be back again on April 22nd with our next episode, and I'm sure we're going to have lots to talk about, including that III initiative showcase and probably several other things that are going to happen between now and then, and maybe we'll be talking about that
World
AI
Direct.
game.
Mario Kart World.
The Mario Kart World Direct. So we're gonna have another packed episode, this next one. So hopefully we'll see you guys there. Hopefully live in the chat, so you can interact with us throughout the entire show. But man, thanks for being here, Barry and Greg, as always. And we hope to see you guys all next episode on April 22nd. Until then, happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.
See you next time.